Okay, we're live. Let's see if you can hear us now. Yeah, we can hear it now. All right, I'm gonna turn my volume down. Here, say something and see if I can hear you.
Hi, you guys hear me? Any different? Hello? Hello? Nothing? Anything?
Here, say something again.
Something.
Here, say something again.
Hey, I heard me.
It's just the two streams like are.
Okay.
It's because I had my volume up. All right, so it should be working now.
Oh, hey, we got two people watching.
Yeah, two people back on.
So,
We might just have to.
if you can hear me, comment in the section below, and that way we can get started with this podcast.
Yeah, if not, we can always just pass back the. I think we're just gonna have to do this.
Yeah.
And yeah, hopefully, definitely.
I guess you might have to catch your microphone down.
Yeah, we might have to do this.
Okay. Oh, well.
Hopefully it doesn't disconnect though when I take it out. Can you still hear us now? Oh yeah, we can.
Yeah, I think it's just your one AirPod.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, let me see this. I might charge this one up, see if that works. But we're just gonna have to do this and then pass it back and forth. Or I might just have to hold it the whole time, but it's all right. That way it knows it's. Yeah, but
What are we gonna talk about?
yeah, we were just gonna talk about some different topics tonight. If you guys have any questions, comments about like coasters, anything just in general, definitely leave it down in the comments. I'm gonna be reading them off my phone. That's why I'm looking over here. So yeah, so just there's 4 people on there now. It's great. Yeah. So yeah, I guess if you want to say something.
Sure. Cool. Hey guys, what's up? So I guess I have to talk to y'all through this whole AirPod. That's a microphone. But yeah, we're just gonna talk about what we like about coasters until we see some questions below, and then we can answer those. But my name's Andrew. I'm an Ohio native. I'm a regular park goer to Kings Island and Cedar Point. Very fond of both establishments. But this season, this 2020 season, by far was perhaps one of the most interesting and, in a sense, depressing seasons I've been to because I didn't really get a chance to ride anything until like July, which was really deprived me of a lot of adrenaline in the first half of this year. But the fact that they're open, it was kind of a miracle within itself. But I'm just thrilled that they opened. So, hey, a little bit more about me. I like Magnum, in case you couldn't tell, with the Magnum apparel. I know it's kind of rough. It's 31, 32 years old now, but I love it. It's a great aero hypercoaster, the original hypercoaster for that matter. But if you get a chance to ride it in row 11, I forget which train it is, but row 11 on Magnum is probably the smoothest part of the whole train. Not row 3. That's not the magic seat anymore. It's just as rough up there as it is anywhere else on the train. But row 11 on Magnum, it's a pretty smooth ride. Let's see. I'd love to visit Carowinds sometime.
Me too.
But the thing is, they weren't open for this year. They were open for Winterfest, but unfortunately, I didn't have the time. I didn't really make the time to drive down there for Winterfest because Fury wasn't open. There was no sense in driving down there if Fury wasn't open. But that's one Cedar Fair chain park I've yet to visit. I would like to visit this year, and then perhaps Universal if I win the lottery. But I just don't really have the money to go down there just yet. What are your guys' favorite rides? What's your favorite steel or wooden coaster? Anything coming to mind? You got anything favorite? I'm going to pass this over back to Austin here.
Yeah, I think this is the best setup we have for now. We'll get something better for next time. But yeah, if you have any comments, but definitely, as we said in the last live stream, we started another one, but I'm just sending it out and reading the comments off my phone. That's why I'm looking down here. But yeah, so we definitely want to go to Carowinds sometime this summer, and I would like to go to Carowinds, Universal, and like Disney World are like definitely bucket list parks. Sometime in the future, check out Star Wars Land and all Harry Potter coaster and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely like to do those. Silver Dollar City on my bucket list, King's Dominion. Those are some cool parks. And then definitely want to do the coaster event, Hollywood Nights at Holiday World. I didn't get to do that last year, but I definitely want to do that this year. I know there's a lot of people that have been doing it in years past, but yeah, I would definitely like to do that. And hopefully they have coaster stock this year. But yeah, that's pretty much what I want to do this. Do you want to tell them about Andrew actually has a piece? Do you want to bring this out? Yeah, describe it. This is actually Andrew, so you can tell you.
For those Vortex fans out there, I managed to scrape together some money and acquire one of these Vortex track slice pieces. You know, I grew up riding Vortex. It kind of has a spot in my heart, even though it was incredibly rough. That's what happens to arrows as they age. I'm aware. But I love this ride, and I could not bypass an opportunity to get a piece of Kings Island history. So I placed an order of October of last year. I got myself a track slice. I was able to pick it up back in December. But anyways, this thing's actually pretty heavy. This thing probably weighs like 3 pounds, and it's only 1.5 inch wide. But this thing is so big, I can't even wrap it. It's incredibly wide. Like, you can't wrap both hands around these roller coaster rails. They're just that freaking big, and that's just it. Kind of just, I think, really just goes to show the incredible engineering that is required just to support the trains and give us these thrills. You know, like these things, like, they're not as flimsy as they look from afar. You know, if you're driving past Kings Island on 71 and you see the rails of a coaster, you know, from the highway, and you see like, oh, that can't be that thin. It's incredibly thick. Like, these rails are monstrous. But no, Vortex had a special place in my heart because I grew up riding it, and then for Kings Island to retire it so suddenly was kind of a blow. But that's not my park. I can't make that kind of a call. That's just the way it is. But yeah, if you ever had the privilege to acquire one of these track slices, consider yourself lucky. They're cool. But yeah, it's just nice to have a piece of Kings Island history. Do you want the mic back?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Cool. Your turn.
Yeah, we're kind of passing the mic back because I don't have the best for audio and stuff, but we'll work on that for next time, hopefully. But yeah, that was definitely a cool piece of the track. Glad Andrew got that. We have some people. I'm just gonna read some people's names that have joined the stream. We have Johnny, of course, Andrew's friend. FYE Coasters got on. How's it going? Brian Neal, how's it going? The Holiday Guy, welcome to the live stream. And yeah, I think that's everybody who commented. There might be more people. I don't think there's a way to see that, but yeah, definitely. If you're on to comment, we'll say hi. What's up? Yeah, we Steel Vengeance, Lightning Rod, Cedar Point, Dollywood. Yeah, definitely. I said in the comments, Andrew, I said name your favorite parks coasters. That's what Johnny said. Steel Vengeance, Lightning Rod, Cedar Point, Dollywood. So yeah, those are definitely some of my favorites. Been on those, and yeah, those are some crazy RMCs. Yeah. So I'm glad we finally got this working because yeah, we should have had this. I played with it earlier and tested it out, but to think about audio, so I'm glad I have these handy dandy one working AirPods or whatever you call them. But yeah, so do you want to like give like top like maybe 10 roller coasters? We have like our own maybe, yeah, just, I mean, I guess I can go first in no particular order. Like these are not like 10 to 9 or like 10 to 1. I don't know why I said 9, but definitely in no particular order. I'm just going to start listing some of my favorites. The Beast at Kings Island, Orion at Kings Island. Definitely Vortex was somewhere close to in top 10 just because of the ride. I mean, it was one of my favorite arrows. I love Arrow. But yeah, Magnum that is definitely up there. So I guess Vortex wouldn't count since it no longer exists, sadly. But yeah, those were definitely some of my favorite. The Beast, I said that. Steel Vengeance, definitely. Lightning Rod. Trying to think of all the ones. Do you like Magnum? I said that one. Yeah, Millennium Force is good. I don't know if it's top 10 for me though. Maverick is, oh, I forgot about that. That's definitely in my top, somewhere in there. Raptor is probably close to my top 10. Diamondback would have to be definitely in my top 10, somewhere in there. So I think that's close to 10. But, and I'd probably have to say, what else? Let's see. Definitely the Voyage in my top 10. And you can't, I probably mentioned over 10, but if you don't count Vortex, I don't know. So Hades 360 at Mount Olympus, definitely underrated. Like the Timberliner trains on it. So, and then, yeah, those are probably some of my top 10 coasters. I don't know, what about you?
So I guess my top 10 favorite, I don't think that's the problem with like favorites and best coasters of all time. I love Steel Vengeance. I think Steel Vengeance and Lightning Rod are neck and neck. I think they are the two best roller coasters in the world. Again, my experience with going to parks and riding coasters is quite limited, but I think that Steel Vengeance is probably, and Lightning Rod is probably just the hands down the best coasters in the States. But they're not my favorite. But just because one ride is the best or voted the best ride for that particular year doesn't mean it's my favorite. There's other reasons why other coasters might strike as a personal favorite for me, but just the elements that Steel Vengeance offers is just it's incredible, and you can't match it. That's why I think, in my opinion, it's the best coaster in Ohio and quite possibly in the world, but it's not my favorite. My favorite, I believe, I like hypercoasters. I like Diamondback. I like Magnum. I can't really say which one's better. I've been on Diamondback a couple thousand times. I've been on Magnum not even 100 times, but I just love the nostalgic Arrow feeling that I get every time I pull down on my lap bar, you know. But to talk about my favorite coasters of all time, both steel and wooden, of course. My favorite, again, is Magnum, Cedar Point, and then Diamondback, Kings Island. Those are again neck and neck for my all-time favorite. Probably the Beast is in second place. I love the Beast. It's so fun. It's kind of rough, yeah, I'm aware, but you know, for the elements and for the layout that it offers, I think it's just awesome. And just that whole really forceful, you know, when you go, you know, after that tunnel, it's so fun. I love it. And then at the Kings Island, Beast at Kings Island, that's my second favorite coaster. What else? I like Banshee's pretty cool. I'm not as fond of Banshee as I am with Raptor. Banshee really just glues me to my seat, you know, and those negative G's kind of take a toll on me. And, you know, I'm really young. I can handle it, but like, it's just me, and my body reacts differently to Banshee, but that's kind of up there too. But I also, I really love Millennium Force. I don't think it's the best coaster of all time. I think it's a great coaster. I believe it's an immortal roller coaster. But I don't think it's the best. But I do like Millennium. That's up there for sure. Lightning Rod and Steel Vengeance. They take the third spots in my favorites in my favorite coaster list, right behind Beast. But you know, I really hope Kings Island does get an RMC in the next 10 years or less. Okay, what else? I've been on so many, I can't really give a good list at this time here. But what else? I may just do top 5. I'll be here all night trying to do top 10s. But no, I love arrows. I love wind coasters. I love hyper coasters. They're all my favorite. What else? Orion's probably number 4. When I first rode Orion, I really tried to ride it with an open mind. I just didn't want to listen to what other people thought about it when they first rode it. I just wanted to ride it with an open mind and just draw my own conclusions, and I did. I loved it. It was great. I thought it was kind of short, but it really was sweet for the elements it offered. And then what else? And then Maverick, probably Maverick is my 5th favorite coaster. The elements are just unbeatable. It's not quite like Steel Vengeance, obviously, but I just love Maverick. That was my favorite coaster back in 2010 when I first rode it, I believe. It was right up there with Diamondback when I first rode it. So it was a great ride. I can see why it was voted the best coaster in 2007 and 2008 when it first came out back in 2007. But no, it was a great ride. It never fails to impress me. But yeah, those are my favorites. Diamondback Magnum for number 1, Beast for number 2. I forgot what 3 was, and I forgot what 4 was, and 5 was Maverick. Sorry, I have the attention span of a goldfish. I'm just going to give the mic back to you.
No, that was very good. It's harder on like live to think of like on the spot. Like we didn't write anything down. Yeah, exactly. Like we got up to like 7 people like watching. So thanks for watching, guys. I know it's not the best setup, but yeah, we did have some people in the comments. I said list your bucket list coasters, and Johnny said, or bucket list parks coasters. Johnny said Carowinds, and then he said Fury Afterburn, Copperhead is amazing. So yeah, definitely, those are some I would love to ride. They look like great coasters, and yeah, I would definitely agree with Andrew's top 5 list right there. It's definitely hard to rank coasters. Like there's so much like arguing or not arguing, but like people like fight on Facebook over which is the best coaster or like anywhere. So I mean, as long as you have your own opinions, like that's what it works. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so about like this whole favorite coaster thing, or like the best coaster in the world thing, that's not really a good question. It's all preference when it comes down to your favorite coaster. Like one of my favorite coasters is Rough as Crap, and a lot of people hate it, but I love it because of nostalgic reasons and the fact that it's an arrow. But that's like saying Jimi Hendrix was like the best guitar player ever. Well, okay, what about Eddie Van Halen? What about Eric Clapton? There's just so many other people and artists to consider. There's so many other coasters and manufacturers to consider, so there is no such thing as the world's best roller coaster. Obviously, like Cedar Fair does like the Golden Ticket Award, for some of their coasters. That's something that they kind of nominate with themselves. I don't know if Cedar Fair does that. That might be outside of Cedar Fair's jurisdiction. But it all comes down to your personal preference on a favorite coaster. But Steel Vengeance really knocks it out of the park. That's what I like about those rides. They just offer elements that no one else has ever tried or replicated before. So I think it's going to be really hard to beat Steel Vengeance and Lightning Rod. That's just my opinion, but a lot of people say it for good reason. You just can't beat it. So, but it doesn't mean it's my favorite. Nothing against it. I just really wish, though, that one thing I don't like about Steel Vengeance, it's not the ride. Nothing about the ride I don't like. It's the entrance. The fact that they make you deposit your phone, wallets, all those articles, even fanny packs. They force you to get a locker. It's only $2, fortunately. But it's just the fact that, I feel like a criminal when I walk through a metal detector to ride a roller coaster, for crying out loud. I think that's just kind of weird and uncomfortable. And that's why I didn't want to ride it a whole lot, was because of the incredible restrictions just to get in line. No, it wasn't really a incredible restriction, but no, I just thought it was kind of odd, and I just didn't want to support that. So I just rode it only when I wanted to, which wasn't very often. So anyways, I'm going to give this back to you.
Definitely. So we had some people list their favorite coasters, and then Kyle, by username Thomas Kyle Creative, said the Beast shirt is dope right up here, and it is literally. I don't know if it's hard to see I guess if you can zoom in, I don't even know if you can do that, but yeah, that was a good point out by Kyle. That's actually Andrew's shirt, and it's the 30th anniversary. It's got like stars by it, but in the blue like outline on the collar and stuff. That's definitely really cool. But yeah, and then I said name your favorite coasters at KI, Cedar Point, really anywhere. I said that kind of earlier, but specifically at KI, Cedar Point. Those are your home parks. And yeah, thanks for joining on too if you recently joined. And if you have any questions, comments, you want to shout out or anything, or you want your name in the comments, just comment something. We'll definitely read them. That's why I'm looking down on my phone, reading the comments. But yeah, so that was our favorite. We kind of said our favorite coasters. We have some other topics to talk about. So yeah, so I think another topic we could talk about real quick here is the racers getting retracked. Like, I don't know if you saw a picture on Kings Island's like social media, but like it literally had the, like, you go down the hill and it literally had like the first like couple airtime hills, whatever you want to call those. Literally the track was all gone. So it looks like they're going to replace, or they're definitely replacing all that track area. So definitely going to be a lot smoother of a ride. Just, I know the blue turnaround was really smooth last year. So definitely like those airtime hills, like the racer is going to be one of the most underrated, like, it's not a new coaster, but like just a retrack. It's going to be like probably an underrated, needed retrack of the 2021 season. So I definitely can't wait to get on that. I know that's definitely a must ride along with the Beast. I mean, I like the Beast a little bit better. I know some people like the Racer better, but definitely the Racer is one of the top things you want to ride there. But yeah, so that'll be interesting next year for Kings Island 2021. Yeah, Andrew has something.
All right. So for those who are, it's just my opinion. Just because Racer had a couple feet of its track redone does not constitute Racer as a brand new coaster, thus giving you another credit. It's still Racer. It just had some of its track redone. It's still the same credit that when you first rode it. So I know there's people out there that like to make the claim like, oh, well, it got retracked, therefore it's a new coaster, therefore it's a new credit. I don't really agree with that. It's still the same coaster. Now, if the track layout was changed significantly, okay, well, that's different. But if it gets retracked, like how Racer was, no, it's not a new credit. I know some people try to do that, and it's just kind of dishonest, really. But I just wanted to put that out there because I heard somebody talking about that, and I kind of raised my eyebrow and I'm like, yeah, that's not a new credit. It's still Racer. Racer's still Racer.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Andrew said right there. But yeah, let's see here. And then so we kind of talked about Kings Island, the Racer, but I think that's going to be one of the major upgrades for next year. We don't know anything about anything else Kings Island's going to do. I mean, they just got Orion last year, and it's hard for them to do anything, especially for what the short season they had last year. But yeah, it's still going to be a great year. I mean, that's going to be like the most. Oh, I just remembered something else they're getting, the Camp Cedar. But yeah, with the Camp Cedar, definitely for like staying, if you have an RV, people from out of town, that's going to be a nice place to go. And if you don't have an RV, they have cabins / like mini houses you can stay in. I think some can fit up to 8 people. So that's going to be like really underrated. So for just getting Orion, for them to get Camp Cedar and retrack the Racer, I mean, that's huge for like an off season after Orion. Like, that's a great year. I know they're like partnering with somebody else to do the Camp Cedar, so I'm not sure how it's split there, the cost and stuff like that, but definitely it's going to be a good year. I can't believe I forgot about that. But yeah, I think Camp Cedar is going to be one of the like nicer campgrounds, probably going to be like comparable to the ones at Cedar Point, similar maybe, I guess, maybe even better. I'm not sure. I haven't stayed in the ones at Cedar Point, but I think, yeah, that will definitely be something cool for Kings Island to get, because they used to have a campground, but Green Lodge is there now. So yeah, definitely they have another good campground place to stay for people that don't want to spend money on a hotel or go to Great Wolf Lodge, just want to have their own RV or mini house. So that's going to be definitely cool. But yeah, and then Cedar Point, still the second year of their 150th anniversary. So I guess we could talk a little bit about that. I'm not an expert when it comes to Cedar Point. I do follow as much things as I can, but I live closer to Kings Island, so I follow what more Kings Island does. But I know Cedar Point, they're still celebrating their 150th year anniversary. I'm not positive if the rides that were supposed to open last year, like the new boat ride, is going to open. I think that was their goal, but I'm not quite sure on that. We'll have to do some more research. But if anybody knows in the comments, definitely comment down below if you know. But yeah, do you have any thoughts on Cedar Point or Kings Island or anything?
I really gotta hand it to Kings Island for being able to get Orion done this past year before Corona hit, and then to retrack Racer, and then to get Camp Cedar. I think that's incredible. That just goes to show, like, hey, they did something right financially. I didn't think they could. That's quite honestly the last thing I expected. And then obviously for them to keep Christmas lights up, even though Kings Island didn't have Winterfest, I thought that was really interesting. So obviously they did financially somewhat well to a degree. But I haven't really been following a whole lot up with Cedar Point's 150th anniversary thing. It'd be nice if they could try to do 2021 as their 150th anniversary, because 2020 was not a good year to celebrate their 150th anniversary. So I hope they can make the best of 2021 as their anniversary. So, but I am really tempted to just see what Camp Cedar is like. I have high hopes for it. I can see some of the houses or some of the structures that Camp Cedar has, just getting onto the 71 ramp from Kings Mills. You can see like 3 or 4 little cabins that they have. That's what it is. It's a little cabin camper resort right down the road from Kings Island, which is just great. Because if you remember, us old timers, they used to have this coasters. It was just a hotel literally across the street, right across the street from Great Wolf Lodge. It used to just be called Coasters, but it was kind of run down, and they tore it down, 10 years ago or so. But this is a really nice addition. I honestly hope that it serves Kings Island well, and which I think it will. Yeah. Also, this episode of Cincy Coaster Bros is sponsored by Mountain Dew Kickstart. UDF sells them 2 for $3. Mountain Dew is my blood type, so if you need to stay awake for the long hours, give Kickstart a chance. You won't regret it. I'm going to hand this back to you.
Yeah, well, we're actually not sponsored, but if Kickstart wants to sponsor us, we'll definitely do that. But but yeah, so definitely agree with what Andrew said on that stuff, the campsites and stuff. Let's see. Yeah, I think we're going to transition to a 5-year plan for Kings Island. Now we can switch back and forth, but like, this is just all speculation. I literally know nothing. Just because I've worked there in the past means nothing. I'm sure everybody knows that. Just a disclaimer out there. Let's see here. If you have any more comments before I start with what I think their 5-year plan is going to be. Let's see. I think we got all the comments. Well, so I think, hey, Coaster Facts. Hello from Ohio. Hello. Yes, we're in Ohio. Thanks for joining the stream. Yes. What part of Ohio are you from? Closer to Cedar Point or Kings Island? Definitely let us know. Thanks for joining. But yeah, so let's see if any more comments real quick. I think we got pretty much all of them that I see anyway. Yeah, but so yeah, if you're wondering, I've stated this, but I'm looking down to read the comments. But anyway, yeah, for 5-year plan for Kings Island. So obviously this year, I guess we get started next year, but this year we already kind of know what they're getting for the most part. We're close to the West Virginia border. Oh, wow. Pretty far from, I guess, Kings Island and Cedar Point. I mean, it's further than we are, but yeah, that's cool. Yeah, definitely thanks for watching. But about the Kings Island 5-year plan, I think, so we know what they're getting for this year, so I guess we get started in 2022. So I guess, like, after the campground, I mean, I could see, like, something minor, and after they retrack the racer, maybe like a water park expansion. They haven't done that since 2016. So what, that would have been going on like 5-6 years later. They could have added something to the water park. I know I'm not a huge water park person, but I know people like that and stuff. So I guess I could see them maybe getting a water coaster. There are a lot of cool new water coaster models, all kinds of stuff. The trapdoor slides in 2016, those are definitely some cool. I know those are cool, but they need like their biggest thing, definitely some water coasters. I know I would go on like Holiday World because Holiday World's water coasters are pretty fun, thrilling. I mean, they're not roller coasters, but they're still water coasters. I mean, they're fun to ride every once in a while on a hot day. But yeah, I think that's something. Johnny said, what are your thoughts on Orion? I love Orion. Great coaster, great fit for the park. I know people say it's like short, but really, I mean, I think it's fine. I like it packs a punch for the shorter ride than most, or than Fury, I guess. It's a little bit shorter, but really not by that much. But I love the first drop. All the elements I think are really unique and different. The floater hill reminds you of like Diamondback, but like those last two hills, like that turn and then the final brake run, you get a ton of airtime. Really, and you get airtime some other spots depending on what row. I probably like the front seat. Back seat's good too, though, but front's just pretty cool. I will like to see when they get all four riders. But yeah, back to the 5-year plan. I would definitely say. So yeah, that's 2022 water park expansion. Again, this is just speculation, but then 2023, maybe like something like a new restaurant or something like that. Just like going off the top of my head, maybe like a new restaurant, maybe park improvements. But I kind of forgot that. I should have mentioned this. Maybe 2022 they won't have a water park expansion because it's their 50th year anniversary. I believe that's right, 1972 to 2022. So that what I would like to see them do is, since they just retract the racer, I would like to see them maybe like repaint it like it used to, the old color scheme to it, the red and like blue, lighter blue on the coaster. Definitely like to see that. I think it had red handrails or something like that. I could have that backwards, but could have blue handrails. But yeah, Andrew's looking it up. But definitely, I would like to see it repainted. Maybe like the front entrance, maybe add some like windows to like that, like take those sponsors off. But I know some people like that, but I think their front entrance definitely needs keep like the same structure, keep the international restaurant, and just like definitely add some more windows and like maybe like a balcony so they can like welcome guests into the park and stuff like that. Spruce it up for their 50th, but don't change it too much. Still keep the history there. Yeah, so I saw a comment from Johnny. He said, what do you think will replace Vortex? Yeah, so I think that's going to be towards the end of my 5-year plan, but I'm definitely going to hit on that. But back to the like 2022, their 50th, maybe do that. I don't think they'll get a coaster personally in 2022. If they do, that'd be great. But I don't know what their budget's like. But I guess we'll just wait and see. But if I had to guess, I would say no. And like Cedar Point to get a coaster for their 150th, but I don't know. They could get a coaster. It just all depends on like how their finances are doing, and like I could see them getting a coaster though too. But it's going to be a stretch, really. But it's definitely possible. I haven't given up all hope, but if a coaster does come in 22, I'll definitely be surprised, and I'll be happy with that. But I'm not getting my hopes up for it, and like definitely saying, oh, there's definitely gonna be a coaster in 2022. But maybe a flat ride if they don't get a coaster in 2022. So that's for their 50th. Maybe then 23 would be a water park expansion. 24 like a restaurant, and yeah, and then maybe like 2025, 5 years after Orion, they could get another like a steel coaster in the place of Vortex. I would like a Mack spinning coaster like Time Traveler, multi-launch, maybe have a record for loops on a spinning multi-launch coaster. I don't know, something like that. But something like that would definitely be cool. But yeah, I could also see us getting an RMC in the future, ground up, not RMC in the Racer or Beast. I just don't see that happening. It'd be a lot of work. Definitely for the Beast Racer wouldn't make sense because they're just retracking it, and it just doesn't make sense. Those are classics, so they're not gonna redo those. But yeah, I could definitely see them in RMC in the spot of Vortex. So I don't know. Either I know a lot of people have different thoughts, but I would like to see a Mack or a Mach spinning coaster. I would like to see like maybe a multi-launch, but I want the intensity of like Maverick to it. I mean, not really something Copperhead Strike. I heard it's cool, like with the hang time and stuff, but I I heard it's not as intense as Maverick, but let's see what we have some comments down here. We think it's going. Coaster Fact said we think it's going to be a Mac multi-launch. Yeah, that's what I think. And Macs are pretty expensive. They're cost probably just as much or maybe more than B&Ms do. And at Kings Island, I think if they don't get a coaster in 2022, they could save up for 2025 possibly, and maybe get a Mac then. But yeah, I think that's something they could definitely get. But yeah, and then 2026, I guess that's the last year. If I did that right. Probably after the coaster would probably be like something minor, a flat ride, restaurant, something small, maybe retracts parts of the Beast. I know they do that pretty much almost every year, retract the Badwood, but something small like that. But yeah, definitely back to the Vortex thing. Probably wrap it up on this because I could see a mock and an RMC. And then I guess if we had to throw out a third option, I don't even know what a third option would be. I guess we aren't seeing as many Intamins, but I guess we could get a Vekoma multi-launch, but I don't know if they'll do that. But those are kind of newer models. But yeah, that's what I think. We have some more comments. Hey, David's on. David, Click. I don't know if I said that right. Oh, sweet. That's Andrew's brother. Did not know that. And then Brian Neal said, I hope it's a spinning like Silver Dollar City. Yeah, that's what I really want. Time Traveler, yeah. Because we don't really have anything like a Wild Mouse or anything spinning. So like you could combine a Wild Mouse into a multi-launch, which would be kind of cool. And then so Johnny said that would be nice, the spinning coaster. Blam, or Blom, whatever, however you say it, he said, look for Action Zone to get more attention before the old Vortex site. That is a possible spot. Like, I know Timberwolf, they didn't really use that last year. I know they do Spirit Song years past, but last year it was obviously not there, but they still might do that, so they still might keep that, but they might take out Congo Falls or something. But I mean, I think it's a fine water ride to have. They could reuse Son of Beast Station. It would just not go the same way as Son of Beast. It would just go towards the front of the park, like a gate coaster, like Gatekeeper would be. But yeah, David said not Congo. Yeah, Congo kind of needs to stay, in my opinion. But I know some people like that. A lot of people like that. The bridge is kind of iconic. The splashing. It's nice for people on a hot day that like that kind of stuff. Because it's different from Whitewater Canyon, so they should keep it. What do you think is next in line for water rides at KI? Well, water rides, I don't know, like out in the regular park, but like water park, I would probably say water coasters. Yeah, maybe some like a cheetah chase, like they have at Holiday World. I think that's what it's called. But I did go to Silky Mountain Water Park in Gatlinburg this past summer. Only water park that was pretty much open and close to us because Kings Island was closed. They did have a racing, dueling like tube water slide. That was pretty fun to like race your friends and stuff. So that'd be something pretty cool. But yeah, definitely like a multi-slide complex with a big water coaster on it. And yeah, so I think that's something for the water park. William said Mac log flume. Yeah, that is possible. I don't even know if they make those still. But yeah, I mean, we could get another higher log flume, but personally, I don't really see that happening in the near future because we already have Congo, Whitewater Canyon, and the log flume, so we kind of have 3 rides. We have some more comments here. Let's see. 2026, Jeff said, will be Carousel's 100th birthday, so hopefully he gets a full refurbishment. Yeah, I forgot about that. So yeah, I definitely would add that to my 2026 thing. Thanks for bringing that up, Jeff. That's a good point. So yeah, they definitely need to spruce that up, make the area really nice. Yeah, redo the horses, paint if any of it's like chipped off or anything. Make the area look really cool behind the Eiffel Tower. I'll paint the whole carousel building, make it look really cool. Add more lights to it, LED lights, stuff like that. I guess. Let's see what else. Johnny said, I think Mammoth from Holiday World would be a good fit for the water park. Yeah, I do love Mammoth. I think we have the space to do put that. It takes a lot of space, but we could definitely fit it somewhere. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where, but we could probably find a spot. That is one of my favorite water coasters, though. So I could see that happening. It has a higher capacity rate, so yeah, that would definitely be a major expense, but it would be a good investment for Kings Island. But yeah, so that's kind of that was a long 5 year plan, but probably took like 20 minutes to talk, or not that long, but felt like 20 minutes. But yeah, that's what I think. I mean, I've changed it like throughout because I forgot about stuff. I should have had it written down, but that's somewhere in there. If you could follow all that, it's my 5 year plan. I don't know, Andrew, you have a 5 year plan for Kings Island?
Yeah, I do. My 5 year plan for Kings Island, just as a disclaimer, it's just my opinion. Everything I say is just completely hypothetical. I'm not at all informed by Kings Island's financial decisions whatsoever. I don't know what they're in the market for. It's just some random guy's opinion on the internet. But when I look at 5-10 year plans, even, I will step back and I'll look at other parks like Carowinds, for example. I've noticed that Kings Island tends to follow other parks' steps, and with regards to what rides they get. That's for an obvious example. Let's look at Fury 325. Carowinds got that back in 2015. 5 years later, Kings Island got their Giga Orion. And then last year, or 2 years ago, 2019, Carowinds got their multi-launch mock coaster, Copperhead Strike. After the 2020 season, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get another coaster until 2025. Again, I don't know, it's my opinion, but I personally believe that within the next few years, the next 3 years, maybe at the earliest, that's when I could see Kings Island getting a new ride. But my gut reaction, though, was that we would get something quite similar to Copperhead Strike, or something very, very similar to what's at Silver Dollar City. That would go in place of Vortex, RIP Vortex. But I think that would probably be the best utilization of that land where Vortex once resided. But that's like the most logical thing that comes to my mind when I contemplate a 5 year plan, and with what I've observed from other parks, Carowinds doing. But I would say by 2024 at the latest, that's when I think we could see another coaster at Kings Island. Could be sooner, could be later. I don't know. It could be sooner because Kings Island just built all these this camping resort a mile down the road, and I was not expecting that. But they had the money for it, so who knows what else they have the money for. It's not just Kings Island too. It's Cedar Fair. It's Cedar Fair's money that they get the ability to do these kinds of things. So, to recap, within the next 3 years, I think we will get a coaster in Vortex's spot. That's what I think is perhaps the most likely option. I would like to see Kings Island do something to Action Zone, because it is kind of dull back there. If I'm being honest with you, I don't spend much of my time there. I'm mostly down there at Rivertown or by Beast and Diamondback and Orion. That's kind of where I hang out. That's where I spend most of my time riding. I don't know if it would be a good idea for Kings Island to get a gate front ride like Gatekeeper. I've been on Gatekeeper several times. It's not my favorite ride. I wouldn't even put it in my top 10 favorite rides. It's cool. It looks aesthetically pleasing. I just don't think that would be a good investment for Kings Island at this given time. But it would be nice if they could do something, maybe a flat ride even in Action Zone somewhere. They don't have to get a coaster in every single section of the park to make it great. Just a flat ride, because there has been a lot of talk of flat rides, or the desire for flat rides at Kings Island. And from what I've noticed, talk turns into actions. So it wouldn't surprise me in the next 2 years if we got a flat ride somewhere in the Action Zone area of the park. So what else? A new mock coaster within the next 3 years, something else to be done to Action Zone in the next 2 years. I give it tops, 2 years tops before they do something to Action Zone. Just my opinion. Could be wrong. What else? Okay, Professor Media. Have you noticed this? Magnum 89, 1989, Diamondback 2009. Oh yeah, that's an interesting trend right there. Brian Neal, we desperately need a dark ride upgrade. Boo Blasters is very outdated. That is an underrated approach to that ride. Yeah, it is kind of old. They didn't do a whole lot from when it was Scooby-Doo ride. If they could give that some more attention, I think that wouldn't be a bad idea. So, but what do you guys think about flat rides? What do you, when you say flat ride, what do you mean by that? What does a good flat ride to you guys look like? Maybe if there's an example of another flat ride from another park that you'd like to see at Kings Island or Cedar Point, whatever, let me know in the comments below. We can address that and talk about it. So, I personally don't go to parks for flat rides. I'm kind of a coaster junkie. I go there strictly for the coasters. If I have time and if the crowds are at a minimum, you know, I may give a flat ride a chance. But yeah, no, I thought it was kind of interesting too that Diamondback opened 20 years after Magnum did. Same ride, similar rides, but just the technology that birthed them was just worlds apart, which I find really interesting and attractive. So, because Magnum is a hypercoaster, likewise, so is Diamondback. But just again, the technology that went behind developing and erecting the two structures was just totally different. But it worked out, and I thought it was great. Flat rides tend to be great at these small classic parks. Yes, they do. And I really do think Kings Island ought to consider what they can do to make flat rides great again, and how they can improve on what they already have. And Scrambler is great, but the thing is with Kings Island, it's not just oriented towards us adrenaline junkies. It's oriented to families as well. That's why they have, you know, Planet Snoopy. That's why they have flat rides, because it caters to different target audiences. Okay, and then they have Orion, which was their big dog, and it did draw some crowds. But that is a market we can't ignore, that Kings Island can't ignore, is the flat rides. I just don't really know what to expect in a flat ride for Kings Island, and anything really would be suffice for me. But what does a good flat ride look like to you guys? What's something you look for in a flat ride? Let me know in the comments below. The 5-year plan.
Yeah, I know some people said like a sledgehammer, the one at Canada's Wonderland.
Okay.
A screaming swing. It worked with that.
I haven't been to Canada's Wonderland yet. I did just get my passport though, but it doesn't mean much because I can't go there yet. So that bums me out, but I'm just gonna have to wait. That's all it means. So 5-year plan, just to recap, it's in 2021 now. I'm still thinking it's 2020, but it's not. But by 2026, just my opinion, as a disclaimer for those just tuning in, it's just my opinion, that between now and the 2026 season, I think Kings Island will be getting a mock ride somewhere where Vortex is located. That's where I see the most logical. That would be the most reasonable place to put a new coaster, is right in the Vortex plot. I believe it will be something closer towards Copperhead Strike. Something, it may not be multi-launch. It might just be something like what's at Silver Dollar City. But again, I'm just judging. I get this discernment from observing what's happened at Carowinds, because what happens at Carowinds tends to translate to Kings Island. So that's something I could see happening by 2026. And then another thing I could see happening before 2026, within the next 2 to 3 years, is some upgrades at Action Zone.
Yeah. Action
Zone. I'm not there very often. I don't know anymore. But if they could get maybe a flat ride there or somewhere else too, even keep Congo Falls though. That's a really appreciated ride, mostly during the summertime, because it keeps people nice and cool for when it's scorching outside. Then again, that iconic archway, that iconic walkway is really nice too. And it's a great ride for people who aren't as ambitious as us adrenaline junkies. So I think they'll keep that. I've heard a lot of talk about people, saying they're going to give, Kings Island's going to give, Congo Falls the guillotine. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see Kings Island getting a water coaster, especially with what happened with Shoot the Rapids. I think Cedar Fair is trying to take a different direction from water coasters. It seemed like a great idea, but it was executed poorly. So it's a shame because Intamin makes wonderful rides. It wouldn't surprise me if within the next 10 years we get something from Intamin, whether it's a flat ride or whether it is a launch coaster like Maverick. Hey, if Kings Island got something like Maverick, or if we got an RMC within the next 10 years, that'd be crazy. That'd be awesome. But I don't think we're going to get an RMC within the next 5 years. Maybe, hopefully by the end of this decade, maybe. I don't know. That's just me. Some guy's opinion on the internet. It's just my opinion. I don't know. But definitely a mock ride within the next 5 years or less. But do you guys think Kings Island needs an RMC? If so, where do you think it should go?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a good point to bring up. The RMC, if Kings Island's going to get one. I don't know. Some people say they are. Some people say they aren't. It's like 50-50, really. They could, they couldn't. But yeah, definitely. Let's see here. Trying to read some of the comments. People brought up some good points here. See if I can find these. Let's see. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. RMC Racer, yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. They're just retracting it. Right, won't happen though, but yeah, some people have made like mock-ups of what it's supposed to look like if they did RMC it just for fun, not like it's supposed to happen. But yeah, I think people have brought up some. Professor Media said, let's see. Well, first Brian Hill said he likes when a flat ride is right on the way or runs the way it was made to run. Yeah, definitely. Like the light package it has, definitely flat rides are cool with new bright light packages on the midway, and they run it how they're supposed to. I know, like Indiana Beach, they had the old flying bobs, and they don't run it like they used to. Like it's supposed to go forward and backwards, I think, but they just run it one direction. I think that's how it was when we were there, when I rode it last. Let's see here. The best place, I'd say that must have, Professor Media said he wants 6 inversions on, I guess, the new coaster. Jeff said, I would like to see Actions that renamed to maybe Fear Fest or something of that nature. That's a good point. They could retheme Action Zone. That's kind of like a Paramount thing when they kind of named that. It hasn't been rethemed in a while. I could definitely see them retheming it to something. Let's see here. Yeah, I know Brian says I'm not a fan of RMC. I really enjoyed the ones I've ridden. If they could have the thigh buster bunny hops at the end, that would be good. They did have those. Yeah, those definitely are painful. Yeah, the restraints RMC, they're not the most comfortable. I'd say B&M probably has some of the best restraints. Gravity Group, definitely. If we had to compare restraints, the Timberliner cars, those are Gravity Group, and probably B&M are some of my favorite restraints. That was kind of a random topic, but yeah. Let's see. I think we got everything else. Yeah, Professor Meade said earlier, Cedar Fair works with S&S, Scream and Swing. That would be cool. Sledgehammer at Canada's Wonderland. Let's see. I think we got all the comments, but yeah. Let's see here. I think you want to talk about Cedar Point now? We said everything about Kings Island. We said our 5-year plans. We might as well get on Cedar Point. So I guess this year they're doing the second year of the 150th year celebration. Hopefully that boat ride opens up. That would definitely be cool. But yeah, I could see 2021, 150th year, 2022. I mean, they could get a new coaster because what Steel Vengeance was 2018? 2018, I believe. So, I mean, it's been 4 years. They didn't get a coaster. They're not getting a coaster this year, so maybe they get one next year. The question is what coaster to get. Like, I mean, I would like to see. I know like Steel Vengeance is kind of hybrid. They have Blue Streak, but in my opinion, it would be cool if they got like a wooden coaster. Question is where. I mean, there's been some markings and I don't know what it was for, but in the Frontier or the where Steel Vengeance is, can't think of the name, Frontierland or whatever that's called, the western area. But yeah, I think they could put something, take out the old like antique cars back there, whatever they're called, and they could put something like a wooden coaster there. I would like to see a gravity group. I know Cedar Fair hasn't worked with gravity group, but I think they could fit something even in a tight space. That's what gravity group does pretty good. So they could definitely build something really cool with the Timberliners. But yeah, or I mean, they could put a GCI on the beach or something like that. I know people have been talking about that for a long time over by Wicked Twister and like on that midway over there. But yeah, definitely have to be compact, and they would have to get creative and find an space. It could be like a out and back, long out drawn coaster. Takes up a lot of space because they don't have that much space for a huge coaster. But yeah, definitely something like that. I could see them doing a wooden coaster. That's what I think is like lacking there. A good wooden coaster with high capacity and stuff. I know Blue Streak, they have that, and RMC is like, and I mean, Steel Vengeance is like a hybrid. But yeah, Frontier Town. Thank you, Professor Media. I forgot that. But yeah, definitely could see that. Maybe like another flat ride. They have a lot of them though, so they may not need that. Restaurant maybe. RMC Blue Streak. Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna do that, but you never know what Cedar Point's gonna do. But some people said like a polar coaster, like 500 foot. Yeah, I mean the one in Orlando that was proposed is never open, so I'm not sure what the status on that's like. But yeah, so in the future, coasters, I would definitely say like a wooden coaster, maybe a flying coaster, like a B&M, probably not a Vekoma, but yeah, B&M flying coaster. I could see them adding that somewhere over like maybe take out. I know it's a classic mine ride, but it's kind of a weird mine train. Cedar Creek mine ride. Maybe they get the axe to that because they have the Gemini, which is similar, but it's a little bit more taller and intense, but or not really intense, but more intense than the Cedar Creek mine ride. So they could take the Cedar Creek mine ride out. This is just speculation, of course, and maybe put like a flying coaster there. Probably add up some more restaurants, improve the buildings. Maybe like this is kind of a weird one, but like maybe improve the restrooms, get air conditioning in all of them, or like just renovate all of them, make them bigger. And yeah, I really like what they did with Hugo's. I think Italian Kitchen. That was a nice place to eat because the visit before I went to Hugo's, like 2018, I believe, the year Steel Vengeance opened up. I mean, it was packed. Like this was before the Corona and stuff like that, but it was packed, and it was like all the food places were jam packed. It was like impossible to get everything. But Hugo's, I think, was a good addition to bring some indoor seating, and then obviously it had a good line system and stuff like that. Professor Media said if you were to take out a current attraction, it'd be Rougarou and give it that similar park, and you have lots of space. That's possible. I really like Rougarou, so I took it out at Cedar Point. I would definitely like to see it go to another park because I think it was. Oh yeah, stand-up coaster. I rode it as Mantis. I really liked it. It's a little whippy, but people might think it's a little rough, but I think it's fine, and I like the whippiness of it. The rough or the not roughness, but the quick transitions and stuff. So yeah, I really like Rougarou and how they converted to a floorless. Yeah, so I can see them doing that too for some more space. Yeah, so basically Cedar Point's going to have to take out some of their older attractions, less capacity to build new stuff in the future. But yeah, so I mean, I didn't really give year by year, but definitely a flying coaster, wooden coaster, maybe. Yeah, yeah, maybe some new restaurants, buildings, bathrooms, stuff like that, park upgrades. And yeah, maybe like they could fit a coaster too where the old like Cedar Point dorms used to be. I don't know if that's like they could fit a coaster there, but I know they tore those down like by Ball Raven, so that's a possibility. We have another comment from David. Yeah. Andrew is gonna answer the Ball Raven, those dorms. They could put a coaster there, right? Oh yeah.
I got a question from David. Do either of you think Kings Island will reboot a coaster the way Cedar Point did with renaming Mantis and the paint job? You know, again, after the 2020 season, it wouldn't surprise me if it took a couple seasons to rebound financially. But again, that I don't know. They just erected a campground a mile down the road, so money may not be an issue. I don't know. That being said, if Kings Island was to ever retheme any ride at Kings Island and to retheme it, rename it, retheme it, repaint it, I could see that going to Vertigo or Face Off. To what, I don't know, but I feel like it would either have to go to Vertigo, because they repainted Vertigo not too long ago, maybe 5-7 years ago, I don't know, but that's what I feel like. I feel like Vertigo would probably get the Mantis treatment, but there's just not a whole lot to choose from, really. Maybe Flight of Fear. I don't think they would, because that really fits in. No, they wouldn't do that to Flight of Fear because that interferes with Area 72. With Orion being added to it, it would just be really odd if they were to give Flight of Fear the Mantis treatment. I don't think they would. But no, probably in Vertigo, if anything. But let me ask you guys this: do you think it would be? Could you see Wicked Twister going to Kings Island or to another park? There has been minor speculation about Wicked Twister being pulled from Cedar Point. I enjoy Wicked Twister, but then yet again, I don't ride it every time I go there, so I'm less prone to being burned out from it. I could see myself getting burned out from riding it so many times. Yeah, if it was at Kings Island, I would ride it more, but I just don't really care to ride it a whole lot. So, and then Mr. Jeffrey Koth says, if anything, they will rename Woodstock Express to Beastie again. Yeah, if they can make that Beastie again, that would be really appropriate. I like Beastie. I like that name. I like how it originally was Beastie back in the day. You know, after the Beast, of course. I thought that was really creative. And then David just wants his Little Bill's Giggle Coaster. That's what I still call it. I don't care what Kings Island calls it now. I'm still going to call Little Bill's Giggle Coaster Little Bill's Giggle Coaster. I think so. I think it's called the Great Pumpkin Coaster. So I'm still calling it Little Bill's. It's purple. That's what I'm going to call it. So Professor Media, once again, is asking, the thing is, if they remove it, what would they plan? It doesn't seem there would be a lot of room where Wicked Twister is to replace with something. Yeah, that's correct. Wicked Twister does not take up a whole lot of space, so it would be kind of may not be the best use of company time and resources to remove Wicked Twister at this given time, because it's not an out and back coaster. It just doesn't take up as much space as most other coasters do. So it would be just kind of awkward if Cedar Point just removed it and they're like, what do we do with this space? And then they may regret it, like, I wish we didn't get rid of it. So who knows? It might stay there. It may be removed. I don't know. It just depends on how financially they rebound after 2020. So that's my thoughts on it. I don't think anything, but yeah, no. If any ride at Kings Island was to get the Mantis treatment, it would definitely. So I hope they don't get rid of Wicked Twister. If they do, it won't surprise me. But if there's anything I've learned in the past couple of years, is that nothing should surprise. And how they announced it, like literally 2 months before they were going to retire it. Like, they didn't give anybody a heads up. like to you folks who have worked at Kings Island, like you don't get no special treatment for like insider cues or what they're going to do next for certain rides. Like they don't tell you that stuff, and like you found out as soon as the general public did, which I think is just on their behalf to just announce 2 months out that, hey, we're getting rid of Vortex after 33 years. I understand where they're coming from, but why they made that decision so late in the year and so suddenly, I thought was really, really unprofessional for them to do. I don't know who that fell on, or who ultimately pulled the trigger on Vortex's decision. I understand where they're coming from, but I just wish they could have been a little more, given us a little more heads up, like at least in the beginning of the season. That would have been more appropriate. But 2 months out, yeah, no, that really kind of rustled my jimmies a little bit, if I'm being honest. Jeffrey Koff says, remove Twister to Michigan. Yeah, Michigan's adventure really could use some attention. I get it. It's not one of our cash crop parks, I'm aware. But, they really could use some love and affection from Cedar Fair a little bit. Because you got to have some sympathy for the folks who don't have anywhere else to go besides Michigan's adventure. You don't want to stick them with the lousy rides, and I get it. That's all they can afford. But I'd much rather see Wicked Twister go to Michigan's or Valley Fair for that matter. So, but what are your guys' thoughts on Windseeker? You know how Cedar Fair went on their Windseeker surge 10 years ago now. I can't believe it's been 10 years since Cedar Fair did that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, 10 years ago, back in 2011 now, it's all the Cedar Fair parks got Windseeker. I think it's cool, but I don't really ride it. I didn't really ride it a whole lot. I didn't really care, but it's nice that they got it. It's a nice view, but they don't really take up a whole lot of space. So I definitely don't want to see it go away because it's nice. The light display is phenomenal, but I just don't. Again, it's not a coaster. I don't really care to ride it as much as I would other coasters. And Professor Media, hello again. I just wish they had more of an explanation with Vortex. So that's the end of its service life. But Carolina Cyclone are in perfect working order. Yeah. Something that comes to my mind. Again, it's just my uneducated opinion. The Vortex was, I think, bigger than the Carolina Cyclone and Corkscrew. I feel like Vortex had much more stress that it had to combat versus the stress and the amount of riders that the Carolina Cyclone and a Corkscrew have had to deal with. So there might be some truth to that. I don't know. Vortex could have gone on to 40 years, maybe. Who knows? You definitely don't want to chance it though with the metal stress fatiguing like that. But yeah, I personally do feel like Cedar Fair's response was kind of shallow. Oh, well, it's at the end of its normal service life. Well, if you could educate us a little bit more on that, that'd be nice too. But I wasn't too happy with them pulling the trigger so fast and so suddenly with such little notice. I was not a fan of that. But no, well, the thing is with Corkscrew is it does not have half the ridership that Vortex does. Okay, I was there this year. I rode Corkscrew one time at Cedar Point this past in the 2020 season. Even though it's running under COVID operations, which are half the operations are half as fast, it just doesn't have the same stress that Vortex does. Vortex was 115 feet tall? Yeah, 115 feet tall. Just had 2 to 3 trains going all the time. But it just had a lot of people to thrill, So I feel like that's kind of why they maybe decided to pull the plug on Vortex sooner than the other rides like Cyclone and Corkscrew. But Vortex was 148.
Yeah, 148.
That's right. I should know this, but I don't. Oh well. Press F in the chat for Vortex.
Yeah, F in the chat.
So what were we talking about? 5-year plans for Cedar Point?
Yeah, I think so. That's what we were on, and then we're just reading comments too.
Yeah. It was the tallest coaster in the world in '87. Wish I was there for it. But no, okay, let's talk about Cedar Point's 5-year. My prediction for Cedar Point's 5-year plan. I don't really keep up with Cedar Point a whole lot. I'm not there a whole lot to really get a gist for what people are saying and talking about. I would like to see. I could see Cedar Point getting a flat ride within the next 3 years. I don't know where, but that would be nice if they could get a flat ride within the next 3 years. They could use another one of those. I don't know if they would get a mock ride like how Carowinds does and like how Kings Island I know will get. It's just a matter of time, really. But it's just I just don't know. I don't really have much of an insight for Cedar Point's 5-year plan, really.
Yeah.
Flat ride, maybe a mock coaster, but again, I'm just looking at Carowinds because typically whatever Carowinds gets, Kings Island shortly follows. 5 years max, you know. But it just depends. I don't make those decisions. Hawaiian Coasters 325. I'm here. Hi, Caleb. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for joining. I'm Andrew. For those of you just now tuning in, we're just kind of talking about Kings Island and Cedar Point coasters, stuff we like and stuff that you guys like too. And Professor Media, says they could get a extreme spinner since they do not have a spinning coaster. Yeah, you know what? That's not a bad idea. If Cedar Point could add that to their variation of their coasters, you know what? That's actually a pretty interesting thought now that you mention it. Because, you know, Cedar Point is known for their, they like to be the first, you know. That's what I like about Cedar Point, and that they tend to be the parks with many firsts. You know, the tallest, you know, the first hyper coaster, first giga, first strata coaster. Obviously, they're not going to be the first ones to have a spinning coaster like how they do at Silver Dollar City, but it'd be nice to have that particular kind of ride at Cedar Point. They could really use that too. Obviously, so with Kings Island, but I feel like Kings Island would more than likely get a mock multi-launch before they would a spinning coaster. I don't think they would get both. They would probably be either or. So, but yeah, no, we're still kind of just brainstorming our hypothetical 5-year plan for Kings Island and Cedar Point. But yeah, we don't know, man. Anything could change. I didn't think Kings Island would have all this money at the end of the 2020 season, but they're building a campground resort a mile down the road, and they had money to keep Christmas lights up this year. So obviously they did something right. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know that they partnership with like another outside party. I forget the name of it, but so yeah, so I'm not sure if they own the land. They probably part own it somehow. There's some like agreement with like I think it's some like group, but that group that bought the land and wanted to do a campground, and they partner with Cedar Fair to like run it like a resort and attraction site. So I think so they partly own it, but I think it's definitely split there. So I don't think they burned out like a whole lot of money. I mean, it's still probably expensive, but there's probably some agreement where they pay the people who own it so much money, like as a partnership. But there's something like that. I don't know all the details, but I didn't hear that's how they split the cost, kind of. So it's not like they're burning a lot of money. I mean, it's still money, but it's not like they just burned a lot of money and have no more money for anything else. So, but yeah, something I heard. Let's see the comments. Were you done, Andrew, or did you have more?
No, that's all.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there. I just wanted to bring that up. Yeah. Let's see. They could get an extreme spinner since they don't have a spinning coaster. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not huge on spinning, but they are kind of fun. More over the years, I've liked spinning coasters and stuff, spinning things and flat rides like Coney Island in Cincinnati before they closed down. I enjoyed all those rides. But I will say that Tempest real quick. I was like, I was so dizzy after that. Like, that was insane. Like, I was so disoriented and stuff. But back to what we were talking about. Let's see here. Caleb says, or Hawaiian coasters. I think a GCI Wooden would be the best fit for Cedar Point for a variety of reasons. But the biggest reason is for me, the last several coasters focused mainly on thrills. So that I think that they needed. something that can appeal to the families and more. Yeah, I agree with you. Hawaiian coasters, definitely agree with that. GCI would fit great. And I think back to what we were saying. I looked up on Google Earth real quick. I know it's not a lot of space, but I think Professor Media was saying there's not a whole lot of space there for a big coaster. But I think they could fit some, like you were saying, a family wooden GCI. I'm not sure if it would be like the one at Invader at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, maybe something like alongside of that. But if you remove Wicked Twister, you would have that big long stretch right there for like the lift hill, and then the space where the old sports stadium is now just like a flat area. It's like I think there's a stage for like a show, but they can easily remove that and have some of the twists and just make it like a twister kind of layout, and like definitely fit something in there like that. I think you would have enough space. It wouldn't be a very long ride, but you could definitely fit something like not really a Mystic Timbers out and back, but something similar. Not probably as big as like, yeah, you probably definitely couldn't fit like a Thunderhead from Dollywood there, but something like an Invader maybe, but still thrilling. Still like appeals to like families and stuff with like kind of how like Mystic Timbers does. Let's see. Oh yeah, go ahead.
My buddy Braden just joined in, so quick shout out to him because he is one of the coolest supervisors out there. He was a super over at Magnum this past year. So thanks for joining, Braden. I just want to give you a shout out, and thanks for tuning in to hearing us ramble on about coasters and stuff like that.
Yeah, thanks for everybody who's joining this. I know we kind of have to pass back a mic back and forth or an AirPod as we're using, but definitely try to improve the setup as we do more of these. Definitely want to do more. And thanks for all the comments and stuff and joining and watching it. It's been like a Friday night with us here talking about coasters. Let's see. Comments. Keen's Island used to do first. They were first to do suspended, first to have a coaster with 6 loops. Yeah, so Brian, I agree with that. They definitely could think of something new with that, or have the most of something. They have the world's longest wooden roller coaster, the Beast. They still have the world's longest inverted coaster, Banshee, I believe. I think it gets overlooked. I forget about it sometimes, but yeah. And then let's see. Hawaiian Coaster says Keen's Island Cedar Fair doesn't physically own Camp Cedar. They're just going to manage it. Yeah, that's right, Caleb. That's what we were kind of trying to say too. So it's like an agreement like that. But yeah, you're right on with that. Then we have Professor Media. They might be the first to get the Titan track or the TL. Do you know what that is? The something track. Titan track. Yeah. I was wondering. Yeah, the Titan track. Yeah, that's. I'm actually unaware. Do you know what the Titan track is? Yeah. I mean, I know there's an RMC like T-Rex. I don't know if that's what you mean, but if it's something else, the Titan track, definitely let us know what it is, or I'll definitely look it up. But yeah, that's possible. They could get like a T-Rex RMC, like steel multi-launch or something like that. If RMC can do that, I'm sure they can in the future. But yeah, it's possible. Hawaiian Coaster says there's talk that they'll use the area in Frontier Town where the empty car Snake River Falls sit for their next coaster. Yeah, that's what. Thanks for clearing that up, Caleb. I think that's what I was trying to say earlier. I couldn't think of the exact spot and Snake River Falls, but yeah, I could definitely see them doing that right kind of in front of the line for like Mavericks, Fast Lane, around that area, like you said. That could be a spot for a good new coaster. It's kind of hard to see it, but like there's probably a lot of land there. If you get on Google Earth, they could fit some sort of coaster, flying coaster, wooden coaster. Probably a wooden though. I'd like to see a wooden. I think that's what everybody kind of wants. But yeah, Professor Media said that might be too similar to Steel Vengeance. Yeah, like a wooden coaster. But I think they could do it a lot differently. I know Steel Vengeance is like has airtime, which the new coaster probably will have, and speed. But like you could do like change directions with a wooden coaster, like tunnels maybe. You can do and it wouldn't have inversions, but it might be similar. But they could do something like a smaller version of Steel Vengeance for like the family type, but still really thrilling with airtime and stuff. But yeah, that's a good point though. Let's see. Braden said, appreciate it. One of the coolest dudes I've ever met. Happy to watch. Yeah, talking about Andrew there. Yeah, thank you for joining. And so he was a supervisor at Magnum, or he worked at Magnum. That's sweet. Yeah, that definitely. I definitely will be working at Cedar Point one day. I think me and Andrew talked about it. It's probably a pretty cool place to work. And
All right.
oh yeah, I'm gonna pass it over to Andrew.
Hey everybody, thank you for joining in. We're makeshift our microphone here. We're just sharing a AirPod in between talks due to some earlier technical difficulties. But no, if you are currently joining in, I'd just like to thank you for choosing to spend your Friday evening with us. GP to enthusiast. Hey Andrew. Hi, I'm Andrew. Nice to meet you. Thank you for joining. And then Braden has informed his Magnum crew of this, and he says Brennan is here. Hi, Brennan. I hope you're doing well and you're staying safe. And I can't wait to see y'all next year. This year. It's already. I'm still not used to this year already. Okay. I am Brennan from Magnum Crew. That's right. Okay. All right. Oh, good. I'll have to subscribe to you here soon. Yeah, Brennan. Okay. Cool. Awesome. Hello, Magnum Crew is here rating your stream. Bring it on. Tell everybody you know. That's great. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are rating our little stream. That's wonderful. So, but yeah, no, Brennan, you guys really ran an awesome crew this year at Magnum, given the circumstances. And the unforeseen circumstances with such short notices. You know, that's one thing. I want to talk about Cedar Point and how they handled this year. Sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, thanks for Magnum Crew for joining. GP to enthusiasts, I know I've watched some of your videos. So that's cool. Thanks for joining. Yeah, definitely. Let's see, but yeah, thanks for joining. And I think we have some. I know he's a coaster YouTuber, obviously, and then Hawaiian Coasters definitely is. Shout out to him. He's a YouTuber, and I think these other people might have some channels too. I'll definitely have to check you out if you have channels or videos on your channels. But yeah, I just want to give that quick thanks for joining, and love Magnum. Did get a chance to ride it. I wanted to, but it was like a 2-hour wait, and I had to get those access passes, but I probably should have done it anyway. But yeah, definitely riding in it this year though when I go up. So yeah, I'll pass it back to Andrew here.
A quick shout out to the Magnum gang. So yes, this is what I look like without a mask. I know I probably look a little different than what you may have been accustomed to seeing me during the several times that I was at your park. But yeah, I have a beard, and this is what I look like without a mask. So, okay. Hawaiian Coasters 325. I might live stream me reacting to the Kentucky game tomorrow. That's cool. Hopefully they win. I don't really follow that so much anymore, but that's cool. But no, I just want to talk about how Kings Island and Cedar Point reacted to dealing with the ongoing circumstances of 2020. You know, there was a delayed opening for all Cedar Fair parks, Kings Island and Cedar Point specifically, and there was just a lot of frustration I could tell with the guests in the first couple weeks and first actual month really of opening up, and people are impatient, and it's really easy to forget what it's like to be in someone else's shoes. So I really have to tip my hat to those who worked at Kings Island and Cedar Point this year, you know, busting their tails trying to make ends meet while keeping in mind of all these new protocols and procedures that you weren't even informed of until you showed up to your shift. I know this is true because I talked to several employees at both Kings Island and Cedar Point who didn't even know about these procedures until they got there, you know, and it's just really easy to be impatient sometimes with ride attendants, and rightfully so. I understand where they're coming from, but you guys really just killed it this year, and you guys just did a great job. So the fact that we were open was a miracle within itself, you know, and that's what really warms my heart. Okay, hang on. Andrew, I saw you at Indiana Beach without a mask. That's right. Yes. That's one thing I love about Indiana Beach. They don't really care about masks. So yes, I forgot about that. Outside, yeah. Yeah, I think you do have to wear a mask inside at Indiana Beach. But outside you're okay because there wasn't anybody there really, so you're pretty much safe. When Professor Media says until the parks return to the way they were, I'm not returning to parks. Hey brother, I totally understand that. My friend Brian was the same way. He got fed up with wearing masks in the park because like it was miserable. Anybody who worked at the park this year, went to Cedar Point or Kings Island this year, they can equally attest that it was absolutely 110% miserable wearing that mask when it was blazing hot out. I'm young, I'm strong, I can handle it. And that's the reason why I was able to go so many times this year because I just sucked it up and dealt with it. It's either that or don't ride. Yeah. So, but no, I totally understand where you're coming from. It is relatively uncomfortable and just absurd, quite honestly, with the protocols. But that wasn't Cedar Point's decision. That was more of the Department of Health, who was the real danger, not so much the virus. And that's what I like to think. But I totally agree with. I can get on board with people not wanting to go back to parks until things return back to normal, in which they will. I just don't know when. Nobody who knows when they will return to normal circumstances. I long for the day when normality returns. I just don't know when it will. But again, the fact that y'all were open was a miracle within itself. So, but I respect those who wish not to go back to any parks until this stuff blows over. But for us adrenaline junkies who need to be on a coaster, we're going to do whatever it takes to get our adrenaline intake for the year. But who all went to Indiana Beach this year? I know I went there for the first time. I went there for the first time. It was a blast. It was fun. It's no Cedar Point by any means. It ain't no Kings Island for sure. But it's a fun little family-owned park, and it is quite the hidden gem. You want to talk a little more about Indiana Beach and your experience, your first time there? I had a blast. They'll tell you too.
Yeah. But first, before I talk about that, thanks for Hawaiian Coasters for explaining the Titan track with the White Lightning and stuff like that. I read that, so that I recall what that is now, and sounds like I read something about that, but that helps. But anyway, Indiana Beach, yeah, that was. I think it's a really underrated park in my opinion. I love the Hoosier Hurricane. That was a good one. Cornball Express though, like the airtime on that, like I was at least probably 6 inches out of my seat, maybe even more. But that was definitely one of my favorites. Lost Coaster. Oh my gosh, I think you saw my reaction video. If you watch it, it's on my YouTube channel. My reaction to that was pretty funny. It was I was just mind blown. I know people have hyped it up, but it definitely lived up to the hype. But yeah, for sure, that was one of my favorite coasters there with Cornball. And yeah, it was a really cool park. The Midway was cool. I was right on the lake right there, and those swings that go over, those were really freaky. It felt like you were gonna fall into the lake. It was leaning back, and I wasn't even leaning back, and you would go forward. And I mean that was pretty cool. I mean, if those chains came off, which they probably wouldn't, but you'd be in the lake. But yeah, let's see here. We have some comments. Lake Schaefer, that's right. Yeah, I was wondering what that lake was called. Yeah, but yeah, that was definitely a cool park, underrated park. Definitely want to go back there and visit with it when they get the new, I don't know, Schwarzkopf. I don't know if I said that right, but definitely the multi-loop thing, and then they get that, I think, the coaster the next year. So definitely Indiana Beach. Definitely want to go there in the summer. We went in the Halloween horror time, but that was still cool to see the haunt event. It was cool to go to, even though it's not as good as maybe Kings Island or Cedar Point's haunt. It was still something, so that was cool for the year. But yeah, Indiana Beach was a great park. Definitely an underrated park in my opinion. I said that, but yeah, definitely it's a good one. Let's see, we have some comments. Jack Ellsworth joined. Hello, thanks for joining the stream. We got up to 15 people. Oh, wow. Thanks for joining, guys. I did not expect this many people to get on. I expected 5, yeah. Let's see. Sorry, I'm reading some comments off my phone. If you didn't know, if you just joined, that's why I'm looking down at my phone to read the comments. Let's see here. Jeff said the 2 rides on Lost Coaster was fun. Yeah, it was fun. We rode it with Jeff and Brian. Those were really fun. the shopping cart. Yeah, so we rode facing this way and then riding it backwards, which is another cool thing. The seats on that coaster car. But I will say a funny story is like we got there, it wasn't open. Like we saw some people like walking on it, but then we were like standing outside the entrance just maybe see if they would open it. And we saw this like security guard or something who worked at the park, and he's like, "You're like, is Lost Coaster gonna open?" He's like, "You guys want to ride it?" So he like called somebody and it's like walkie-talkie or something, and he like got a crew out there. So like that was cool that we got. We just literally asked and they like turned it on for us. He's like, "Yeah, we got people that want to ride this thing," so they turned it on. I'm glad it validated actually the first test ride they sent because they had some like smaller they had some people that didn't weigh very much, some kids on it that worked there, some teenagers at the park. So it did make it validated. It didn't come back into the station, but that's kind of funny to see that validated. I think I caught a video of that on my YouTube channel, the Indiana Beach video, but yeah, that was definitely a fun moment. But and then let's see. Yeah, Brian Neal said it's a great park. First time I was there in 1988 before they had wood coasters. Wow, that would have been different without the Hoosier Hurricane and Cornball Express. But yeah, and speaking of that, I'm glad I even got to go there because there are talks of it about closing it permanently. So I'm glad the new owners bought it, and definitely glad I could visit because I was really bummed out when I first heard that they were closing it permanently, and I was pretty sad that I wouldn't go there because it's on my bucket list. But then when they closed it, I'm like, man, I just didn't make it to there, but I'm glad they reopened it. Let's see here. Let's see. Looks like we have some more, I think, Magnum people joining on. I think Jack might be from Magnum. I could be wrong, but Noya said, I'm sorry if I can't pronounce that right. Yeah. None of your business. Oh my gosh. As an actual person. Says hi. Let's see. This year to work at Cedar Point. I'm assuming you worked there, but yeah, I bet I worked at Kings Island. I wasn't in Rise this year. I did Mystic Timbers in the past, and Racer, Zephyr, and then I've worked some other rides. I did work the Beast one time. I got to work Vortex once, which I was very fortunate. Funny story. I don't know if I've ever shared this, but many people. I don't think I've shared this with anybody, but I was working Vortex, and we were opening. It was like a summer day. I got sent to Vortex. I think I was at Mystic Timbers, or I think it was Racer at the time, and so they were training me there. I got like signed off to work it. Anyway, they we need a test rider. Literally, nobody wanted to test ride it. So I'm like, does anybody want to test ride it? I love coasters, obviously. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll test ride it. But we only had enough people where I could be the only one test riding it because we had like the bare minimum number of people to we had the bare minimum people to run the Vortex. So we had just enough for one test rider. So I literally rode it through on one train, got back, got off. They sent that train. I got on the second train, rode that train. So I rode Vortex, and then I got off that train. They sent that one. I got on the third train, rode that. So I literally test rode Vortex 3 times, like back to back, to back. So that was probably how many loops does it have? Like 6 loops. So that's inversions, yeah. 6 inversions. So like I did 18 inversions in like probably less than 10 minutes, maybe like over 10 minutes. But like that was probably one of my favorite like memories of the Vortex. Definitely is working it and test riding it that many times, riding it back to back. I felt like I had it was like that's better than Fastlane. I mean at that point, just riding it back to back. But that was definitely one of my favorite memories. Is that I've also worked Windseeker and stuff. But back to what I was saying. Yeah. Let's see here. I forget what I was saying, but yeah, he's gonna talk about Indiana Beach. But I think I was just talking about. Oh yeah, working at. I'll just wrap it up on this side, and I'll pass it to Andrew. Working at Kings Island, so I was in like food and beverage. I worked at Graders, but yeah, it was definitely a lot different in years past. But I really enjoyed it though, and had some good accomplishments I accomplished while working there. So I was happy about that, and yeah, I was glad to work there. But even with the mask, like it wasn't my favorite thing to wear. But I'm just glad we were able to open stuff. But I'll pass it over to Andrew. what he has to say about Indiana Beach.
For those who've had the privilege to go to Indiana Beach, it really is like I said, it is a hidden gem in the amusement park world. But it's nothing like a big corporate park like Cedar Point. It really is a family-owned park, and which is what I enjoy it in a sense more than I don't. Let's clarify something. I like Cedar Point more than I do Indiana Beach. It's just the treatment there because it is a family-owned park. It's different, as with any small business, family-owned business would tend to be. But when we went there, we got our hopes up to ride the Lost Coaster because we heard great things about it, and it was probably one of the best rides there. And I think it was with the elements that it had. But when we got there, it was closed. It wasn't open, and so we were walking around. We flagged down a security guard, and we asked him if it was running, and like if we had we not asked, like we wouldn't have gotten that ride open for everybody else. I just thought that was really cool. Like they would open a ride for us. I couldn't imagine doing that at Cedar Point. If I did that at Cedar Point or Kings Island, they'd be like, "Oh no, dude, go away." That's just what I feel like would happen there. But it's just the personal experience and treatment that you would get at Indiana Beach is just more on an individual level than it is with some other places. Not saying Cedar Point or Kings Island can't be equally kind or responsive, because they are. It's just stuff like that at small parks like that kind of makes me appreciate them a little bit more. But I just thought that was really interesting. Like, had we not asked, just stuck our foot out there for a second, we wouldn't have letting that ride open for us and for other people too. So I thought that was really cool. No, another fun thing about the Lost Coaster, for those who don't know or maybe who haven't been on it, it's a smaller coaster. It's nothing like Orion or Banshee. It's just a small little coaster they have, and I really enjoyed it. It didn't go over about 30 miles. It didn't go over about 25 miles an hour, but you don't need speed to have a good time. It helps, but you don't need it. But I just thought it was really funny. The first time we saw it, the Lost Coaster test ride, like it valleyed. And what I mean by that is when a coaster train or car doesn't have enough momentum and it can't clear one of the hills, therefore resulting it in valleying out or coming to the lowest point of the track as a result of a lack of momentum. And which it's common. That happens in small coasters like that. But I just thought, never once have I ever seen a half dozen employees pushing up this train on the tracks from a coaster. I just thought that was really fun and unique. I've just never seen it before. But again, it's stuff like that you just witness at little parks like that. I remember. So, do we have any more comments? I minimized YouTube there. Jack says, I wish they'd go back to normal this year. Hey, don't we all? I hate to say it, I don't think they're going to go back to normal this year. Hopefully next year. Maybe 2022 they go back to normal, but all I can say is the only reason I go to, here's why I mostly go to Kings Island and Cedar Point. Once they informed us that the 2020 passes would be valid for 2021 as well. So you'd be getting 2 season passes for the price of one. After some financial discernment, I thought that was a good idea. So I went ahead and got a platinum pass and added my meal and drink plan to that platinum pass. And I thought that was a good investment, considering the fact that I go a lot. I could get my money's worth out of it thrice over. And yes, it is very expensive over time. I believe my platinum and food and meal plan was over $300, but it paid for itself, and for as many times as I went and for as much food as I went, or for as much food as I had, it was well worth it. But that's the only reason I went so many times, was to get my money's worth out of it. A cool thing too, for those who have season passes and maybe you're considering getting a meal plan for your season pass. I drive by Kings Island on the way back home. Every time, I leave work, it's just right there on the way back home. I literally will swing by Kings Island, just get dinner, not even ride anything. I won't even go on Diamondback or anything else. I'll just literally go there just to get food and get out there. Yeah, it's not uncommon to do that. A lot of people have done that, but I just thought that's a really interesting way to, get, free dinner out of it. That's what I do, and that was the big reason for why I got my platinum and meal plan for the next year, for this season and for the past season. But I thought it was a really courteous act on Cedar Fair's behalf to extend season passes for this coming year too. But I can only imagine how much money they lost on it, but it was the right thing to do looking back, and I'm glad they did that, because I did get my money's worth out of passes for as much as I went. So, but I will say though, the food kind of does get old after a while. It tastes good, don't get me wrong, but like when you have it, 3 times a week, it kind of does burn you out relatively fast. So that's the only downside to it. But it's good food. It fills you up. That's what it's supposed to do. Hugo's is probably the best place I've been. That's what they have at Cedar Point. They don't have a Hugo's at Kings Island, but they do at Cedar Point, and their strombolis are just amazing. They really fill you up. So if Kings Island could get a Hugo's in the next 5 to 10 years, kudos to them. I don't know if that's going to happen, but if they could get something like Hugo's or something, an Italian restaurant with strombolis, that would be a huge win for the pass holder community. So Jack is commenting some more. I wish we should at least be closer to normal this year. Yeah, I hope. Thinking of going to winter chill out. What's winter chill out? Cedar Point. Yeah. How long is it already done this year? I'm not familiar with it. Yeah, I figured they would have been done by now, considering the fact that Carowinds, their Winterfest ran until like New Year's Eve. So I figured everybody else would be done by now, unless Cedar Point's doing something. Hey, if there is such a thing as an off-season tour event, I'd love to try it out. For those who don't know, I'm kind of living under a rock. I don't have any social media. I'm kind of taking a break from it, but I don't hear announcements anymore. I just hear them from people like you. People text me like, "Hey, did you hear about that?" I'm not on Instagram or Facebook anymore, so I'm not up to date with just the basic information and announcements that parks give out. So forgive me if I am behind on if I have a lack of knowledge on these things, but I'm just not as informed as I used to be. So, but yeah, Jack saying I was lucky to work that year to see people. Yeah, that's good for you. Winter Chill Out is a backstage tour they do in February. Okay, that's interesting. So what do you mean by backstage tour? Is that of the whole park, or is that just of a certain area of the park? Because that definitely seems interesting. Yeah, I'd love to sign up for it if there is a sign up. The 20th of this year. Cool. Most areas of the park. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, Guy. I'll look into it, and hopefully we can catch up there and then, because that seems really cool. I've never done it before. Obviously, that's why I'm not as informed. Yeah, maybe he and I will hit it up sometime and just check it out, because that'd be really cool to go to Cedar Point in January at winter. Yeah, it would be. Well, being an Ohioan for the past 20 some years, I'm pretty used to the frigid temperatures, so that's really not a problem for me. I'll just dress accordingly. But I think that's really cool that Cedar Point does that. I never knew they would do such a thing like that. Yeah, I'll check out your video later on about winter chill out there after the stream. I'll give that a gander and on that. But that seems pretty cool. How long is it? Is it just like one day, or does it last a while, or? Again, I still think that's really cool. Seriously, who can say like, yeah, I've been to Cedar Point in January and got to just check out stuff behind the scenes during an off season. Yeah, it's one day for a few hours. It might be worth it. I'm not too far. I'm 3.5 hours from Cedar Point, and I'm comfortable making that drive, even if it's just there to hang out for a couple hours. Yeah, why not? It's always a real treat to go up to Sandusky. So I'll definitely have to go. So Cedar Point. Hey, I really hope they don't do reservations. That got annoying really quickly. But when Cedar Point does open up, I think I do anticipate Cedar Point and quite frankly all Cedar Fair owned parks to open up on time this year. On time meaning mid-April when they usually open up. So if they could drop the reservations, because that got really annoying real quick.
Like the winter sale is going to go on sale tickets at January 12th at 12 p.m. So
Okay.
So we might have to.
So for those watching and you're interested in the winter chill out, tickets go on sale on the 12th of January. So basically in 4 days at noon. So tickets are unlimited. May not be a bad idea to set a reminder on your phone. And if you are interested in winter chill out, give it a shot. I know I'll be there for all of however many hours they allocate.
6 hours, like a self-guided tour.
Oh, self-guided tour, 6 hours. All right. As long as I get to see my Magnum, that's all I care about. Or if I can get within the vicinity of Magnum, I will be a happy camper. Tickets sell out in a few hours normally. How was the new coaster at Kings Island? I'm glad you asked, Jack. So I was there at Kings Island 2 years ago. Wow, 2019. I was there in August of 2019 when they announced Orion, and I was on the more judgmental side of Orion when I found out it wasn't 300 feet tall. I swallowed my pride. I got over it, but I rode it with an open mind, with no preconceived notions. I thought it was genuinely a great ride. Kings Island really, really needed Orion. I haven't been on Fury 325 to compare it to, so I'm not going to compare the two. And I've heard from other people that you just really can't even compare the two rides because they're just two totally different experiences. But no, I personally believe Orion was a much needed attraction to the park, both to the general public and to the coaster enthusiasts. So I liked it. First drop is pretty killer, and it was worth the wait. So yeah, I can understand life getting busy and that being a reason for us not to getting a chance to go to parks and check things out. That's why I couldn't go to, Carowinds for Winterfest. I just got too busy. I just couldn't set aside that kind of time. But no, should you get the chance to this season rather, please do check out Orion. I think it's worth it. It's a great ride. I really, really like the last little hill at the very end where it kind of whips you around that little hill. Yeah, that's a really nice element. But in that little bunny hill in the middle of the ride during mid-track, I think that's really cool too. That's a nice element. I was very impressed with that element. I wouldn't compare it to Diamondback. I would not compare Orion to Diamondback. Likewise, I would not compare Diamondback to Orion. They're both similar. They are airtime coasters, but they both offer a different experience, and that's why I refuse to compare the two. They're similar and different in their own ways. That's what I think of Diamondback and Orion. But Orion, again, I think was a great addition to the park. So, and funny thing too, has anyone else noticed about Orion? It came out 20 years right after Millennium Force. And not only that, it has the exact same color scheme as Millennium Force. It has that blue and it has that silver gray, support colors. I just thought that was really cool. And obviously they weren't trying to steal Millennium Force's idea, and they didn't. I'm kind of glad they didn't make it taller than 310 feet, or I'm glad they didn't make it taller than Millennium Force. Obviously the cost of steel rose significantly within the past 7 years, so that's why I'm sure they didn't make it over 300 feet tall. Yeah, I think there may have been some politics with Cedar Point, Kings Island on, making Orion the same height or within the 300-foot range as Millennium. So who knows? Who cares? It's a giga, and we got it. It's a great ride. I think it's selfish to complain. How many years have you been working for Kings Island? I haven't worked there. I've been going there since 2007, but yeah, he can answer that. He works there. I don't. I'm just an enthusiast.
Yeah, I will say I started in 2016, and then I did work 2017, but 2016, 2018, 2019, 2020. So yeah, um, like games, rides, food and beverage. So yeah, I'm excited. I think this is my 5th season at the park, so I believe so. So yeah, if I did that right, 2016, 18, 19, 20, yeah. But yeah, I just dropped the mic. That's not good. But yeah, it's definitely a cool place to work, and I can't wait to work at Cedar Point. I've enjoyed working at Kings Island, but yeah, definitely. And yeah, I agree with everything Andrew said on Orion. That's a great addition to the park. Definitely needed some fancy coaster like that, and a tall coaster over 300 feet. And it's a lot different than Diamondback, in my opinion. Now, I compared it, but yeah. Diet Pepsi fan, 1000 Vortex. Hello. Thanks for joining the stream. Are you from Cedar Point too, or do you live in Sandusky? You on the Magnum crew? Or are you just joining? I know we have a couple people from the Magnum crew on here. Yeah, definitely a fun place to work there, Kings Island. You want to get back to what you were saying?
I forgot what I was saying, but if you are here on the Magnum crew still hanging out, thanks for spending time with us. I'm going to Kings Island this year too. Yeah, all right. Yeah, make it out there. I believe Kings Island, correct. Kings Island should be opening up mid-April. I've noticed Kings Island typically they tend to open up the 3rd April, which usually is April 18th or April 17th. So, but don't go opening day because it's just always crowded and swampy. And mid-May usually is a good time to go because all the kids are still in school. Like a weekday, like in the middle of the week in May is probably the best time to go to any park. But with schools being online now, it may just be as swamped as it usually would be in the summer. So who knows?
Really, it wasn't actually too bad though. Like this summer, the crowds went crazy. I mean, a couple days it was sold out. But
yeah, it was sold out a couple times this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jack Ellsworth said this is his 5th season. Well, congratulations. Funny enough, I applied for Kings Island back when I was in high school many moons ago, and they never got back. I applied for rides. That was probably why they didn't get back with me, because me and 500,000 other people probably applied for rides too at midnight on New Year's Day, and they never got back to me. But I think it was kind of a blessing in disguise looking back, because I heard many not so wonderful stories about working at Kings Island and how they would deprive you of any freedom during the summertime. And again, I'm glad they didn't get back with me. But at one point in my life, I would like to spend one season as a ride op so I could appreciate the technical aspects of roller coasters versus just being an enthusiast, not ever knowing what it's like to, operate it and make the coasters work. I think ride ops are incredibly essential. Obviously, they're essential, otherwise we wouldn't be able to ride. But that is something on my bucket list to do, is to become a ride op, either at Kings Island or a Cedar Point at one point in my life. Diet Pepsi fan 1000 Vortex. By the way, I have 19 coaster counts. Hey, good for you. And I went down to Kentucky Kingdom last year. Well, that's awesome. I've yet to been to Kentucky Kingdom. I don't know what's down there. I should probably check that out sometime. So you want to talk about Kentucky Kingdom?
Yeah, I can touch on that a little bit. I've been there definitely times, I think twice. Rode Kentucky Flyer, great ride, great airtime. Love the Timberliners. Storm Chaser, great RMC. I like kind of the twist drop or whatever you call that, barrel roll drop. Forget the right name for it, but definitely that's a cool ride. T3. But yeah, and then Thunder Run, they retracked that. I haven't done it since they retracked it the second time recently, but I have rode that. It's a pretty cool ride. Let's see. I didn't ride T3 because I hate it. Yeah, T3, I mean, I did for the credit, and I mean, you don't have to ride it. It's really not worth riding that, really, unless you just want a credit. But it's an easy skip coaster. Definitely ride Kentucky Flyer and Storm Chaser. Jack's got a question. What was the most scary cast members most scary cast members work at Kings Island or Cedar Point? I'd probably say I've never worked at Cedar Point. Like, are you talking about like the haunt actors, like scare actors or whatever they're called? Is that what you're talking about? But yeah, I think Kings Island's sorry. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant that. Just want to make sure I was talking about the right thing. But yeah, scare actors definitely. Never been one, but I know people that done it. It's pretty. I mean, they get their like mask and stuff on, and yeah, and they have to like get scare guests and stuff. Back in the days, but yeah, I guess they. Yeah, it's. I've known people that have done it. It's a fun job. But it's pretty enjoyable. I don't know how to compare it to Cedar Point, but I'm sure it's like a similar thing. Let's see, we got Watch Kings Island built a coaster themed to the game Muse Dash. I've never actually played that game, Diet Pepsi fan, but I'll have to look that up and that'd be pretty cool. It sounds like it's a cool game. Like maybe like you get to things are flying out, you get to dash them, but GP2 enthusiast said, "I'm going to head out. Great talking." Yeah, hey, thanks for getting on. Appreciate you. Yeah, hope to see you at Winter Chill Out. That's definitely be on our radar and definitely put that on our calendars, and hopefully we can get a ticket for that before they sell out. So we definitely need to get on that at noon and try to get tickets. That's something I really want to do. Benefits Kidnet Foundation. But thanks for getting on. Have a great night. Oh yeah, Andrew's gonna say something.
Hey bro, thanks again for hanging out with us. I'd love to catch up with you. Hopefully I can make it up to the point when they have Winter Chill Out. But yeah, get in touch with Braden and we'll stay in touch and everything. You know, stay safe, stay healthy, and thanks again for kicking it with us. I'm sure we'll see you soon. Take care.
Yeah, thanks for joining again. Everybody that's joined. Yeah, that Pepsi, like Pepsi and Coke. Yeah. It's like yeah, I know Andrew said that's illegal, but I like both too. Like I like Pepsi. I drink Coke a lot at Kings Island when I work there. So like, and when I go as a guest, so like I like Pepsi every once to switch it up. But yeah. But you're a Vortex fan too. It says Vortex. I don't know if you saw Andrew showed. Andrew has a piece of Vortex. You could show that. Yeah, show him right there. It's kind of hard to see it, but zoom in. It's a piece of it. Yeah, he'll bring it up. Vortex, perfect. Okay, go ahead.
For those of you watching, I appreciate you still hanging out with us. But this is actually one of the track slices from Vortex that they were selling this past fall. And believe it or not, this thing is pretty heavy. This is a 1.5 inch slice of the track from Vortex, and this thing is huge diameter wise. I can't even wrap both my hands around it. It's just that big. But the really cool thing is you can see the rail where the wheels came into contact over all the years, exposing the metal. I think that's really cool. I just thought that was really cool, and like you can see like the layers of paint over the years, like how many times it's been painted over. But I just figured that'd be really cool for you guys to see, to those who enjoyed Vortex, in the 33 years that Vortex gave us. So if you had the privilege to buy one of these, hey, that's awesome. But if you didn't buy one, it's totally understandable. These things were expensive, but I couldn't turn down a good opportunity. So that's just a little show and tell for my viewers out there. So yeah, Vortex. All right, back to you, sir.
Thanks for showing that, Andrew. That's a cool piece of track right there, and cool thing to collect and have. Definitely, first time I've seen it in person. Definitely glad we have that. Let's see here. See if you have any more comments. Yeah, I guess we'll keep it going for a little bit. Still got 13 people on here. Yeah, but if you have any questions, but I guess we could talk about some other comments. We've kind of talked about season, but I guess we talk about the upcoming season. We talked about it a little bit for Kings Island, the retracking of the racer, and Camp Cedar. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great year overall. I think they're going to open on time like they normally do. I mean, there's no reason they shouldn't, and not to. I think it's fine. Not quite sure. They haven't, at least to my knowledge, made a firm decision if like masks are going to be required. I know some people are going to be disappointed if they are. Some people won't come and get a pass that did get a pass last year because they didn't agree with the mask, but some people like masks. I think that we should wear them. And I mean, it's not my favorite thing, but I'll wear a mask to go ride roller coasters, definitely. And if they still require it, the professionals require it in public at Kings Island and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Vortex is gone. We have another comment. What if Barney's fur was a refurb to the racer? I'm not actually unaware of what that is, but do you know what that is? Yeah, sorry. What's Barney's fur? Oh, like the character from the animated series, I guess, or not animated, but yeah, that'd be funny. I get it now. Yeah, that was funny. Like later, we've been doing this for a while, so. A family coaster, gotcha. That makes sense. Let's see here. Yeah, but 2020 is gonna be a good year. Back to that. Definitely excited for the season coming up. It's gonna be here before we know it. I mean, we're only in January. We got a long way to go, but I mean, we're, I guess, almost halfway through this off season. Well, if Winterfest happened, we wouldn't, but since it ended in November, first day of November, so we got 2 months, November, December done. So we just have January, February, March, parts of April. Yeah, 3.5 months. We got 2021 for Cedar Point and other parks. Hopefully, Kings Dominion Carowinds open. I don't see why they won't unless their governor won't allow it. But I hope everywhere opens. And like, I know we're kind of far from the West Coast, but hopefully Knott's can open their rides in Disneyland and stuff like that for the people out there. I'm not sure if we have anybody on there, but definitely visiting there. I know people visit, travel everywhere. So hopefully those parks open up. People in California and like on the West Coast, Six Flags and Magic Mountain. But yeah, definitely would like to go to some Six Flags parks too, bring that up. But Great America is pretty close. There's also some other ones, St. Louis, Six Flags St. Louis. Jack said, do you think they are going to have their Halloween event this year? I do. I think they might be modified if they require masks and stuff. The monsters will just have to wear them as a part of their costume or find a way that like other parks did. I think they will have it unless like it just yeah. I mean, I'm pretty confident they'll have it unless something crazy goes on again. But I think they will have the event. I really miss Haunt. That's one of my favorite times of the year. All the decorations and like the mazes and stuff. But yeah, definitely one of my favorite times. Winterfest too. Love that. Grand Carnival. I think that's coming back this year too. Something else we can touch on for the 2021 season. They said I think it's supposed to come back at least this year if everything goes right on plan, or they have proposed coming back in the future. Yeah. See if we have any more comments here. Yeah, but in 2021, Cedar Point, definitely want to get up there again. Ride Raptor and all the coasters up there, Maverick, and again for their 152nd year, celebrating their 150th year. So I did not get to ride Raptor or Magnum when I went up there because all I did was Top Thrill, Maverick twice, Steel Vengeance, Millennium Force, and yeah, I think that was those 5. That was it. But like, and we ate lunch and stuff, and I think that their hours were only like 12 to 8 or something the day we went, or like 11 or something. So we had limited time, and we had to get access passes, so it doesn't seem like a whole lot, but it was still a lot of fun. It's always fun going up to the point, Cedar Point, and yeah. Do you have anything else to add about this coming year, Andrew?
Yeah. So regarding Halloween Haunt, I could see the likelihood of them bringing Haunt back because Haunt really is a great revenue generator. Again, with all the COVID crap they had to deal with, it just wasn't worth it given their short notice and the circumstances. That's why it didn't happen this past year in the 2020 season. I I would be surprised if haunt did not happen this year, though. To answer your question, but yeah, I would expect to see haunt this year. Just again with more rules, and may not be as fun, but yeah, I could see them very well having it. Jack also was asking, do you know what my picture for what house it was for? No, I do not know. There's many things in life I do not know, and that happens to be one of them. You can tell us though. On the single rider line with it some time ago as a means to dismiss potential line jumping. Although that's really just not true, do you think Cedar Fair should implement or reinstate some sort of single rider line to rides who had a specifically designated line for single riders? Or do you think the fast lane will forever take over the single rider?
Oh, he's talking about his profile picture on YouTube. That's, if you look closely, that's he was in the freak show.
Oh,
He
cool.
was that was from the freak show. That's cool.
Oh, very cool, man. Good for you. That's awesome. Day of my life can be a freak show sometimes.
Yeah, I walked past that, but like I never
No.
went into it.
That's cool. That's cool. What's your favorite haunted house? Both past, present. Is that Cedar Point and Kings Island? What sticks out to you? Which one was your favorite? Man, okay, so probably like 11 years ago, back in like 2010, I think, they had Club Blood. Like it was just really weird. It wasn't like Haunted Hoochie weird, but like it was just like really like evasive and just creepy. And I thought they did a pretty good job with that. Scary. Yeah, I haven't been to Freak Show. I didn't do Freak Show. I've never done a Halloween weekend at Cedar Point, so I couldn't really tell you. I don't know much about it. Favorite haunted houses of all time at Kings Island and Cedar Point. I think are the best haunted houses at Kings Island and Cedar Point. But no, Club Blood was pretty good. I don't know if they did away with it.
Yeah, it's blackout now.
Blackout now, okay, yeah. It doesn't really. So here's the thing. Maybe it's just me. The older I've gotten, the less scared I've been. Things like that because I can anticipate when someone's about to scream at me. So it's not as frightening to me anymore. I do it just because I think it's funny, but it doesn't really, scare me or I get much, it doesn't give me this element of thrill so much as it did back when I was in high school. But, I like Slaughterhouse at Kings Island. It's pretty good too. So for those who remember the Crypt or Tomb Raider at Kings Island, they used to do that. They had that weird looking dude. And no, it still is a haunted house, but that's what they turned the Crypt into. And the Crypt was just a big indoor swing. That used to spray water in your face. Back when Paramount used to own Kings Island. But it's just a haunted house now, and it's an awfully big storage unit for a haunted house. Jack says, I can give you a tip if you go into a haunted house. Do not say someone's name. Why? Well, that just okay. You know what? I'm going to try it now, just because he said not to. Reverse psychology. Okay. Yeah. Again, I'm just not easily scared, dude. Especially in a haunted house like that, I know someone's going to jump out at me, and I'm just going to anticipate it. So, try me. You can't fool me. You can't fool the beard. But yeah, I'm just not a huge haunted house person guy. If I have to pay for it, I don't want to do it. I only go to Kings Island's haunted for their Fear Fest. That's what they used to call it back in the day. I only go there because it's included within my season pass. I don't have to pay for it. I did the SS Nightmare one time back in high school, but I don't really care. I don't care to pay to be scared. Like that's just not my market. I don't really care for that stuff, but I'm sure a lot of people do, and that's what they look forward to during all-time festivities. But going to Halloween haunt is as much as I'll really get into like being scared and partaking in those related festivities. But I scared a man and he jumped 3 feet backward. I believe it. Good for you. Yeah. The one silly thing though is like that Cedar Fair does is that they sell wristbands to be for people not to be scared. And you know, I could see why they would do that, but hey, you're going to a park solely for reasons to be scared, and then yet you purchase that wristband to not be scared. You know, it's like, well, why would you even go in the first place? You only go there just to be scared, and then you. Yeah. It's silly. It's silly, but you know, I understand where they're going, and yeah, it's a great way to make a quick buck off a couple people, but I just think it's kind of weird. I don't know. Doesn't work in a haunted house. Yeah, dude. You know what? If somebody was wearing a wristband, I'm still gonna scare them. I don't care. You're in my vicinity. I'm gonna holler at you. But I had a couple buddies from high school. They used to be a scaricature, and they loved it. I'll tell you what, though, I love the guys. You remember those guys that would like have those knee pads and they would slide across? Like, yeah, I thought that was really cool. I thought those were the coolest caricatures out there. So, but we need more comments. Comment, people. There's 10 of y'all watching. Surely you can't just be watching us on your phone in bed before you go to sleep without commenting, without any interaction. Oh, he wants to say something.
I'm not saying we can throw it up like it's got some attention recently. Dollywood, they're actually redoing Lightning Rod, tracking it, redoing like kind of redoing that, so we could talk about that. Yeah, but I've definitely seen some pictures. I don't have any right now, but to show you guys. But you can just Google Lightning Rod reconstruction. You'll probably find something, or I don't know whose page has it, but they're definitely retracking it. So that'll be cool to ride because I did get a chance to ride it before they did that. And I will say, like, the Beast at night's probably one of my favorites. Orion's pretty good too. Banshee's pretty good. Racer's fun. Like, Mystic Timber at night's pretty cool. Diamondback, obviously, one of the best at night. But I will say, like, if you get a chance to ride, I know their hours aren't always like, but riding Lightning Rod at night is pretty cool. Definitely a good time on Lightning Rod. Yes, I have. I got one ride on it. It was pretty fun. I think it was in like the very back row or somewhere. I rode Lightning Rod in the back row, but I definitely want to ride in the front. Once they like renovate it, so that'll be something cool. Jack said, yeah, scare actors are a dangerous job, especially like we were talking about the sliders, like with the knee pads sliding across. Yeah, could run into somebody. Got to be really careful. I'm sure there's a lot of safety things. Yeah, you just gotta do your best and use your best judgment to be careful. I did want to definitely do that show and maybe go up there for a haunt. I went up there once, but everything was really crowded. I just rode rides. I think I walked through like the Frontier Trail walkthrough. They had some cool actors right there, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty dark, but I know they have one there, Maverick and stuff, and they have like the Erie Manor or some, it's in like some building or something, and they have like a zombie high school or something like that. Yeah, sometimes you get hit. Yeah, I'm sure you guys do. Like, that's a crazy job, and somebody gets mad, or not mad, but just like flinches at you or something. Yeah, definitely. Well, I know there's one like under Maverick haunted house, but yeah, definitely need to go do their haunts and just strictly do their haunts and maybe ride a couple coasters as well. But yeah, but I don't know if you went like, remember, like it was like 2018, I think, or 2019 closing year, Cedar Point haunt. It was like so crowded, like it was like rainy, wet, cold. They had like one trains, like all the haunts were crazy. But yeah, that's my last visit to Cedar Point's haunt Hall Weekends or whatever they call it, something like that. But yeah, you got anything to say about haunt at Kings Island or anything in general?
Yeah, I love haunt. I kind of do like that spooky atmosphere. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I don't know if I would be a good caricature or not. I don't know how I feel about, having to go into work a couple hours early to do makeup, and depending if I had to stay in the costume I wore. But I'm sure I could have some fun. But I think the biggest thing that I would dread about being a caricature for Halloween haunt is losing my voice. Like, it does not take much for me to lose my voice. I don't talk loud to begin with, and it most certainly doesn't take much time for me to lose my voice shouting and carrying on, trying to scare people like that. Yeah, bro, Jack, if you got hit, man, doing your job, that sucks. I get it. Sometimes people freak out and out of natural reflex, they'll hit you. I'm sure sometimes it's unintentional, sometimes it is intentional. But hey, if you go to a park during Halloween haunt, you're gonna get scared, and that's something a lot of people just don't understand. And then they get all upset when they get scared. It's just like, no, hey, you're at a park, you're gonna get scared. Don't hit the guys. They didn't touch you. Don't touch them. That's something that not every park goer understands, which is a great shame. But that's just kind of the way she goes sometimes. But yep. Okay, what else? So, hey, what are y'all's thoughts? Let's talk about Racer for a second. As for those who don't know, Racer was recently retracked. Certain pieces and segments of the Racer at Kings Island was retracked. Do you think it would be a worthy cause for Kings Island to sell off pieces of Racer like how they did Son of Beast? Obviously Racer's not getting torn down. It's not being retired. I think Racer is on the more immortal side, coasters, if anything. But do you think they should do something with the scrap wood? I think that'd be kind of cool if they could, at least sell off the scrap wood, so that way people can have a bit of Racer in their house, like how they did with Vortex and Son of Beast. But I just think that'd be a really interesting use they could make of the scrap wood. That's just my opinion. I wish they could do that. You think they're going to have a fast pass this year? Oh yeah, of course, absolutely. Fast pass is a huge cash crop for Cedar Fair. When they first came out with it, I hated it because obviously Fast Lane Pass displaced all single rider lines. That's how we got most of our rides on Diamondback. But it's just a means to line jump in front of everybody, and you pay for it, and people will pay it. It's ridiculous, but you know what? There's a market for it. People will pay it, and yeah, I could see them carrying on. I don't see Cedar Fair parting ways with the fast lane idea anytime soon. I think that's here for the long haul. As much as I hate to say it, yeah, I think it's going to be here for a while. So mostly because it just generates a lot of money. So I don't agree with having to pay $900, however much it costs for the whole year to add on to your season pass. I think that is kind of excessive. But when I have that kind of money one day, maybe I'll buy it, but I just think that's just not worth it. I thought about getting it last year though, because it would have been valid for 2 seasons. But again, you're still spending $800 to ride coasters, to line jump. Yeah, I just don't think it's necessarily worth it. It does cost a lot of money. Yeah, just a one-day pass is $70, $80. Yeah, it's just crazy. Hi, Jeff. I would like to see Kings Island sell old ride parts in the stores. Some parks in England sell those. That makes 2 of us, brother. I wish they could do that too. I don't like how it's just a very limited supply, like how it was for Vortex and for Son of Beast, and that would be a really great. That'd be a nice thing to add to their merchandise inventory. They got T-shirts, coaster track pieces. That's a hot item. I don't know why they wouldn't do that. It'd be nice to petition Kings Island or Cedar Fair, for that matter, to merchandise and sell off old pieces of their track. Instead of scrapping it, instead of paying someone to come take it and remove their old wood, why not sell it? It'd be a great way to make a few extra bucks. Aiden Cox says hello. Thank you for joining. I'm glad you're here. We're just kind of talking about coasters and our 2 cents of coasters at Kings Island, Cedar Point, and everywhere else. So if you're still here with us, thank you for hanging out. But yeah, the fast lane, it's a double-edged sword. It's great for people who really want to bypass, the absurd wait times. When everybody from Warren County wants to go to Kings Island and ride Diamondback, that's when it comes in handy. But you got to be willing to pay for it, and it is ridiculously expensive. So if you want to do it, hey, the more power to you. But personally, I don't think it's the best use of my money, really. But if somebody gave me a free fast lane pass, hey, I'll take advantage of it. What they did in the 2019 season If you bought a pass for 2020, they gave you a free Fastlane pass for the day. They did not do that for this past year because your season pass would have been good for next year. I don't think they could have afforded to give that away, but usually in times past, that's what they would have done as an incentive means to potentially gain more customers by giving a free Fastlane pass to people renewing their season passes. I thought that was pretty smart. Love the shirts hung up in the poster. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Normally this is where my bed's at, but I cleared out my bed so people like you could see the small collection of shirts I've accumulated over the years. This little poster up here where it says Kings Island, ironically enough, I found that in a trash can over at Area 52, where Orion is at, because as you know, they were kind of redecorating Orion's queue lines, and all the trash cans have that same sign or the same sticker. Same with Cedar Point. It would just say Cedar Point, but this one I literally dug out from a trash can and I just put it on some styrofoam board and cut it out, and it looks really cool. So, but yeah, coaster shirts get expensive, like easily $20, easily $30, and yeah, I spent a lot of money at amusement parks over the years. It's crazy. Worth it? Yeah, it was worth it. But you want to talk some more?
Yeah, sure.
You're awfully quiet over there.
Yeah, but yeah, back to what Andrew was saying, coaster shirts. Yeah, I've bought way too many, but like I've bought new ones. I've gotten like free ones from like first rider events and stuff. And like the reason I keep buying them is because like I wear them at parks and stuff, and they just wear out in general. Like I have top throw ones, like tie-dye, it's worn out. It's just like the lettering stuff. When you wear it a lot, it wears out. It's like anything, really, it wears down. But yeah, definitely. I definitely like collect coaster shirts, anything really coasters. I like ride photo frames, like from different rides. I have a bunch. I don't really like the new ones they have. It's all right. Like the Mystic Timbers, like if you get a ride photo frame, I know everything's like digital, like fun pics online and stuff. But like I have like I like the old photo frames, like the Beast, Banshee. I think we have some comments coming in, but then I like park maps as well. I had a 2009 like park map when Diamondback first came out, but I lost it. I can't find it anymore. But if I find that, like it's like huge too. It's when they folded them up, but it's probably one of my coolest like maps from Kings Island. I mean, it's not that old, but it's like got Diamondback's opening year on it. Yeah, let's see. I missed the night rides for workers. Yes, I did too, Jack. I will say I did do those a lot in the past. They were really fun. Like you could just do it with your ride crew, or like your friends that work there, friends from your area if you work in food, but from your ride. I never did it with my food friends because it was we didn't have any rides nights. But yeah, with my Mystic crew and Racer crew, we definitely did some really fun ride nights. I still remember those. Did like Flight of Fear a bunch of times, and Big Bash. They have a end of the year thing in Kings Island. But anyway, there's a friend of mine in New York took a bunch of our friends Dave Cornell's shirts, made them in a quilt. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I actually have some of my shirts made in a quilt, kind of like that, similar. But yeah, that's really neat. That way they can save those shirts and memories can live on. Makes you think of David. Yeah, rest in peace to Dave. He's a great person. I remember going to a couple parks with him a couple times. But yeah, that's definitely a sad, but definitely a good way to celebrate his life, keep the memories of his shirts. Aiden says, what's your favorite ride or coaster? We said like earlier our top like 5, but we'll just kind of say like, or Andrew said top 5, I said top 10, but my favorites probably at Kings Island would be the Beast, Orion, Diamondback, in no particular order. But the Beast, I love wooden coasters, so that's probably my favorite wooden. Orion's favorite steel. Yeah, those are my favorites. Kings Island. Number 1, like steel coaster, probably would be Maverick of all time, probably. But I mean, it changes. Like opinions change. Like I know it's not everybody's number 1, and but yeah. Let's see. If I can meet you in real life, I can buy you a T-shirt. Oh, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be nice. Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely have to go to Cedar Point. And yeah, Andrew, you want to say for Aiden, you want to tell him your top coasters and anything else you have to say?
Of course. So thanks again, Dana, for joining us. Where are you from, guy? You're from the 513 area? You're from Ohio? I see you got Orion as your profile picture. So that's a pretty nice picture there. El Toro. Speaking of El Toro, we should, dude, for those who don't know, El Toro Ryan, he's another coaster enthusiast, but he's a great blogger. He makes these really awesome videos called Problematic Roller Coasters. They're great videos to listen to, and he just kind of talks about the nature and experiences about coasters and the problems they have and the cool things about them. But El Toro Ryan, check him out here on YouTube. Great kid. He's probably our age, a little bit older, but good guy. I know, Aiden, to answer your question, favorite ride or coaster? Man, that's hard. It's neck and neck battle between Magnum and Diamondback. Magnum, obviously, at Cedar Point, Diamondback at Kings Island. They're kind of my favorites. However, I strongly cherish Steel Vengeance and Lightning Rod. Both RMCs, I think they are the best coasters, hands down, ever built. But just because I think they're the best coasters ever built does not mean I think they're better than my favorite rides. The best coaster doesn't have to